You'll be pleased to know I don't have the cold that I had last week. Voice is a little husky, but the cold has gone, thank God. Go. That should all be another video. Here we go. I think we're running. Yeah, looks live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to live chat number 59 here on Brooks's Base Corner. You're very welcome. Hope everyone out there is fine and well in YouTube land. This is a base channel. So if you've got questions about the Titanic or how to do the washing up or the best way to iron a shirt, this isn't the channel for you. This is bass guitars, bass amplifiers, pedals, bass guitars, and all that kind of thing. So if this is where you mean to be, good to see you. Welcome. Thanks for joining in. Welcome. It's Tuesday, 8 o'clock here in London town. Good to see you. Thanks for joining in. If you've just joined up on the live chat, if this is your first time here on Brooks's Base Corner, you're very welcome. Thanks for getting involved. So if you've not done a live chat before, let me give you a very quick resume of how this all kind of works. So basically it's a two-way conversation between you and I. There are people logging in from all over the world, all over the planet, to talk bass guitars, amplifiers, effects, great bass players, all that kind of thing. There's a live chat window which is directly below this video window if you're on the mobile app, and if you're on the desktop version, it's that way. So basically, I talk to you guys and you guys talk back. So in the live chat window, put your cursor or your pointer or your insertion point, whatever you want to call it, put it in there, type your question and comment, press send. It then appears here on my live chat window. When I see that message, I can then respond to it, just making sure I'm getting all the messages. Bear with me a second. There we go. Excellent. And so if you've got any questions about basses, bass guitars, amplifiers, combos, bass speakers, pedals, leads, gig bags, strings, accessories, cleaning materials, polishing cloths, all of that sort of thing. If it's bass related, I want to hear about it. So if you've got a problem with some equipment, or perhaps you're looking to buy something new, or maybe you're going to trade something in and upgrade to something else, or even downgrade, it's not unknown, feel free to put that in the live chat window, and as soon as I see it, I'll respond to it. If I don't know the answer, or I think I don't know how to solve what you're asking, I'll open it up to the regulars here on Brooks's Base Corner live chats, and highly likely one of them might well know the answer. We have some assorted bass types here, so we're going from beginners right up to working pros, professionals. Sometimes we even get the rich and famous on here. We've had Neil Fairclough from Queen. We've had Lee Sklar, the man with the greatest beard in rock and pop. We've had Dave Swift. We've had my old editor from Bass Guitar Magazine. So we do get the occasional luminary appearing here on the Brooks's Base Corner live chats. So if this is the first video you've seen here on the channel, or if you enjoy the live chats anyway, or you enjoy the content that's on the channel generally, please feel free to hit the subscribe button that's below. Hit the like button, which is the thumbs up, directly below the video window. If you're going to give it a thumbs down for any reason, then please leave a comment in the comment section so that I can try and make the videos better. So whatever you don't like about it, let me know, and then I can try and improve from that point on. Next to the subscribe button, you'll see like a bell. It's called the notification bell. So basically, if you hit that, when you hit the subscribe button, you then get three options. So you will get notified when I put up new videos, or I post on the community tab, or we're doing a live chat, or actually whenever I'm interacting with the YouTube channel. So there are three settings there. The first one is none, so you get no notifications. The second one is highlights. So basically the YouTube algorithm will present you with videos that I produce based on your viewing preferences, that it works out over time what you like on the channel and what you don't. The third option is all. So you get every video that I post up, every community tab post, you get notified that I've done that. So that's up to you to decide. But if you hit the notification bell and you don't select one of those 3 settings, you won't get any notifications. So basically, if you want notifications, you're looking at highlights or all. If you select none, you won't get anything. And if you don't select any option, you won't get any notifications at all. So at the bottom of the live chat window, you'll see there's an emoji icon, sort of a smiley face. Feel free to hit that as much as you like during the chat. It works for the channel. It works for me. Basically, it shows the YouTube algorithm that you're enjoying the chat, that you're getting involved, and it's all positive. So if you wish to give that an absolute pummeling, then feel free. Next to it, you'll see a dollar symbol, and that's called Super Chat. That allows you to make a financial contribution towards the channel if you wish to do so. Everything you see here, amplifiers, pedals, basses, what have you, all gets paid for. Nothing comes to the channel for free. So if you want to help the channel progress and to oil the wheels of the algorithm, then feel free to make a financial contribution to the channel, either through Super Chat, which again is at the bottom of the live chat window, or you can do it via Super Thanks, and I'll get to Super Thanks right now. So underneath the video window, you'll see a small row of like icons. You'll see the thumbs up, thumbs down. You'll see a share arrow, so you can share this or any other video here on Brooks's Bass Corner out to a website, via email, or to social media. You'll then find the save button, and then so save allows you to watch the videos at a later date. Then there's the shop icon. So basically you can see the Brooks's Bass Corner branded merchandise that we have for sale here on the channel. That will take you through to the YouTube merchandise shelf, which is connected to the merchandise stores that I have set up with Spreadshirt and Spreadshop. Now, if you use the merchandise shelf, great, fabulous, thank you very much. In the description box underneath this video window, you'll find direct links through to that store. So there is a difference in terms of the amount of commission the channel receives, whether we do it through YouTube or you buy directly. But if you click on the shop icon, it will bring up a list of selected pieces of merchandise to the right of the live chat window. If you go through to the store in the description box, then you can see all the merchandise, not just the items that YouTube has selected. So on there, you'll find about 13 or 14 designs, and then those designs are applied to around about 160, 170 items. So there's t-shirts, caps, hoodies, mouse mats, drinking bottles, mugs, beer glasses, hoodies, sweatshirts, you name it. It's all in there with the channel branding on it. So then after the shop icon, you will find a dollar symbol within a love heart, and that's called Super Thanks, which works exactly the same as Super Chat in the live chat window. So again, if you want to make a financial contribution to the channel, you can certainly do so. So you've got 2 options of doing that. You can either do it here in the live chat via Super Chat, or you can do it on any video here on the channel via Super Thanks. And that's how that works. There's also a Super Thanks facility on the YouTube Shorts videos, and you will see that listed on the screen if you happen to watch any of the YouTube Shorts from this channel. So then in the description box, you've got the merch links. So there's a UK and Europe store and a US and worldwide store. There was a discount of 15%, but I think it finished on Sunday. So you've missed that one. I think the next one is free delivery, and that is in about 10 days time. But don't let that stop you. So if you want to check out the merchandise stores, go to the description box, check it out via the links that are in there. Underneath the merch links, you'll find affiliate sales links. So if you have any bass related purchases and you think I'd like to help Brooks's Bass Corner in some way, but I want to buy a new bass or a new amp or pedals or some strings or what have you, if you go via the affiliate links in the description box, so there's affiliate links for Thomann, Amazon, Gear for Music and Andertons, click on those links. Thomann and Amazon have storefronts that I've created for Brooks's Space Corner. You'll find the items there. For Gear for Music and Andertons, it's just a direct affiliate link. So as soon as you click on the link, it'll take you through, and the registered channel link for Brooks's Space Corner will be held within the cookies when you click through to that site. And then anything you purchase will be registered back to Brooks's Space Corner. So find the items you want. Obviously, you've clicked on the links first. Find the items you want, add them to your basket, go through with the transaction, and once that's complete, Brooks's Space Corner receives a very small, and I mean small, affiliate commission. But all those small affiliate commissions will add up to be a bigger amount as time goes by. The more you buy through affiliate links, the better the deals are that I get given them from those retailers that I can then pass on to you guys. So, you know, if I sold loads of items through Thomann, I would get affiliate links to buy, you know, 20% off a set of strings or 30% off an effect pedal. That's how affiliate links work. So the more you buy, the more it helps the channel, and then I can pass on voucher codes and various offers to you fine people out there in YouTube land. And then underneath the affiliate links in the description box, you'll find social media links for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, now called X, of course, Be Real. And then there's also, you'll find us on Discord, Reddit, Quora, TikTok, and Threads. There we go. Right, let's get on to the live chat. Let's see who we've got on this evening. Hope you're all good. Okay, Stacey, you first here, were you? Very good, very good. Mr. Lover, good, you're in as well. Good to see you. Steffi from Germany, excellent, splendid stuff. Graham, hey you guys, good to see you too. Then we've got everyone saying hello. Very good. Hope you're all well. Hope everything's going okay. Now I have a confession. So after last week's live chat, I said the next day, the next installment of the bass string experiment would go up. Okay, it didn't happen. Let me explain. So some of you may or may not know, we've got a three-legged Chihuahua here, a tripod. And unfortunately, Chihuahuas are very prone to having something called a luxating patella. So basically their kneecaps pop in and out on their hind legs. We've got a tripod, so he's already a front leg down. And about 3 weeks ago, he started to hold one of his back legs up, which generally indicates there's a problem either with the thigh or the knee. Our previous dog was a Chihuahua Corgi cross. We'd seen this, where the knee pops out and then they end up stumbling around like they're drunk. So you take him to the vet, and our vet assessed him 2.5 weeks ago and said basically that knee was at stage 3. There's only 4 stages for a popping out knee, 1 to 4, 4 being the very worst, 3 is not good. So we were borderline 3 into 4. And so last Wednesday, the day after live chat, I had to start filling out insurance forms and getting the dog prepared for going away on Thursday because he had an operation. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, came home Sunday. So basically my whole day Wednesday was getting everything sorted for him. Then I had to be up very, very early on Thursday, and still feel like I'm recovering from that day actually. And we took Charlie to Fitzpatrick referrals. So anyone here in the UK, you'll know exactly, if you're an animal lover or a dog lover, you'll know exactly who Fitzpatrick referrals are. Headed by Noel Fitzpatrick, the super vet, a personal friend. We'd used them before with our chocolate Labrador back in 2010 when he had a cruciate ligament go in his knee, and then he had a double hip replacement 3 years later. Anyway, Noel's a personal friend, that's by the by, he's out on tour. We went to Fitzpatrick's, dropped Charlie off. He had the operation on Friday, all successful. Then Saturday I had a gig on Friday and a gig on Saturday. But Saturday's gig, I got the song list for Saturday's gig late in the day on Wednesday. And there was about 70 songs on there, of which about 30 I'd never played in my life. So I had to find time to learn those songs in time for Saturday's gig. So that kind of took up the tail end of Wednesday, most of Thursday, and a bit of Friday morning. Got Friday's gig with Uncle Funk done. Saturday's gig sort of rolled around very quickly, and I was dog sitting as well Saturday morning. Got that done. Sunday, we were waiting for a phone call to find out what was going on. We didn't hear anything. And then at about 4 o'clock, when we thought we better chase up, see what's going on, they said, oh, we thought you were going to be here at 3 o'clock. They hadn't rung us. There was a thing on the system to say someone at Fitzpatrick's needs to ring the client and get them here for 3 o'clock so we can discharge Charlie the Chihuahua. No one rang. We had no contact, no communication. So I literally had to get in the car just as I was about to start editing and get that next bass string experiment video up and go and pick the dog up. By the time we got back, then it was a case of looking after him, nursing him, getting him sorted out. Monday rolled around. This is good, isn't it? And basically nursing him in a cage and doing his exercises and taking him out to the toilet so he can do his business and all of that. And here we are now, Tuesday. So another week between the two live chats, and I didn't get a video up. So I very much apologise if you were waiting for that video. I thought I was going to have loads of time Wednesday to get it all done, and just didn't happen. Thursday went, Friday went, then we were at the weekend, and here we are. It's Tuesday again, so I can promise you, I know I said this last week, but I've actually been working today on the editing for that video. So I think I need literally about an hour or two tomorrow, and that video will be up. So keep an eye on the channel, keep an eye on your notifications, and hopefully that episode, which is gigs 15 to 19, which goes all the way back to last October, will appear tomorrow. It's going to be a premiere, and so there will be a 30-minute live chat before it starts running. And if you want to get involved in that, then feel free. It'd be great to see you. And then you can talk to me leading up to that video and while the video is being shown. Then when the video ends, the live chat ends. So if you've got any questions about the video as it's running, I'll be sat in front of it, so you'll be able to fire away. And also on top of that, I've been working on a couple of the other sort of episodes that come after that. So I was kind of bulk producing today. So you'll have gone from not a lot of content to suddenly being deluged with it, but it's there, ready to go. Saw some messages pop up there. Oh, that's my mum. Mum's watching, listening. Hello to everyone. Kevin Smith, just come back from Canterbury in Kent. Have you gigged there? Yes, sir. Several times. I actually used to live in Faversham in Kent many years ago when I was a young lad. And I gig in Kent quite regularly. But just lately I was in Herne Bay doing a gig at Strode Park. That was middle of September. And then the week after we did Saltasia Festival in Maidstone. Both gigs were with Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno. So yes, Kev, I do gig in Kent, and quite often, certainly through the summer when all the festivals are going on. But Canterbury used to be quite close to where I lived there in Kent. So yeah. Yes, mate. What were you doing in Canterbury, Kev? Was that just like a day out, or were you gigging there? You can tell me. By the way, for those who are interested, if you like the look of this t-shirt, irrespective of the graphic, if you like the colour in terms of the blue, when you go through to the merchandise store, this is peacock blue, not royal blue. This is peacock blue. Okay, it's actually brighter than it looks on the screen. Just for those who ask, because I've had people buying t-shirts and then saying it doesn't look the same color as yours. You've got to get the grays right. There's charcoal gray, there's dark gray, there's, yeah. So the blues, there's like quite a few blues. This is the peacock blue one. But it fits great, washes great. As with all the stuff from Spreadshirt, it's very resilient, put it that way. The mugs are great. They never well, the prints just don't fade. It's quite fab. Yeah. So gigs, what was I doing last week? Had Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno on Friday, which was at Witham Public Hall. That was a great gig. We did very well there. And then Saturday I was playing with a wedding band. I just don't know the name of the band. One of these bands that have like 20 different names because they work with 20 different agencies. And gig was good, but I could have done with that song list like a day or two earlier. It would have saved me a whole load of grief. I learned all the songs up, and then half of them we didn't play anyway. So typical. It happens. Kev Smith, no, just wife and I having a nice break in Canterbury. Very good. Okay. QDAVEQ. I don't know. Quadavec, maybe. Welcome anyway. Good to see you. I don't recognise the name, but that's by the by. Hi, Mike. When playing in tribute bands, how meticulous are you about playing the parts note for note, using the same positions as the original player? Same positions, that's irrelevant, because no one's going to know that you're playing in the same position. Okay, the punters out there don't care about the position. What they care about is that the notes are right and that the songs sound right. So how meticulous am I? Immensely. It's one of my bugbears when tribute bands don't play things how they're meant to be played. The songs were written by the original artist. They were arranged by the original artist. They've been orchestrated by the original artist. That's what people are expecting. That's what they're paying the money for, is for you to play it how the originals were played. Unless your tribute band is based on I'll put it in inverted commas, niche, and I hate doing that. Yeah. Unless the band is based around, these are our interpretations, or it's like a reggae Led Zeppelin band or a reggae Bon Jovi band, unless that's the selling point, play the songs how they're meant to be played. There's no excuse. That's what they are. And nothing grinds my gears more with a musician than if you're playing in a tribute band and they've done no work, they've put in no effort, and they just play the songs how they interpret them. It's no use unless you're rehearsing, or you do a rehearsal before the gig or gigs. No one is going to know you're going to do that. And I have this often. Oh, do I have this often, where musicians come into a tribute band, and I might be the dep. I might be going into their band, and people just don't play it. Now, if you haven't rehearsed and your point of reference is either the original version or the live version played by the original band, you need everyone to be on point. That is your point of reference. So certainly with bass, I am totally listening to what the drummer's doing, as well as everything else. But if the drummer in a tribute band is not playing the parts how they're meant to be played, and either they simply can't play them, or they're just too lazy to learn it, I tell you, it really drives me nuts. Because suddenly all the stuff I've learned is irrelevant. I might as well have not learnt it and just come in and winged it like the drummer is doing, or anyone else in the band. My bass parts are totally reliant on what that drummer is doing if he's the guy who's regularly in that band. Now, if I'm playing in a tribute band and a dep drummer comes in, then again, it's the same thing. If they haven't learned the stuff that's been sent to them, whether that's us playing it, the original version, or the live version by the original band, what's the point? Don't take the gig if you're not going to learn the material. So kind of, I don't want to get on a soapbox about this, but that is my take on it. So do I think it matters? Positions, no, that's irrelevant. Note choices, register choices. So if a bass part is played high up on the original, then you're playing it high up. Now, which position you're playing it in, I don't care. But what I hear, in a theatre, a punter isn't going to know whether you're playing it there or, if I have a bass and say the line is played up here on the G string, or say it's a little further down, If it's played in the G string, I might play it on the D string. Now, Mavis Scraggs from 52 Ethelthorpe Road isn't going to care whether I'm playing it on there or whether I play it up here. She doesn't care, but she knows she'll hear the notes are wrong if I'm not playing the part right. So that's my take on that. Perfect answer. I totally agree. I've had the same experience. Players who just approximate the parts. I don't want to embarrass anyone, but there are some drummers I've worked with since we came out of lockdown. In tribute band, covers bands is a different thing. But tributes, people are paying good money. Invariably, if it's a theatre, they're paying £20 plus. They're paying good money, expecting to come and hear the songs that they know by that artist, played by that tribute. Play the songs, how they're written. I don't care. Your interpretation is irrelevant to me. That's just play the songs the way people are expecting to be hearing them. And I find it with drummers all the time. They just don't do the legwork. Whether that's because they don't have a kit at home set up to practice, so they'll listen to the song and they might chart out, oh, you know, hi-hats here and bass drum there and it's at this figure and da-da-da. But they don't learn the parts. They aren't sitting there putting in the hours. You know, as a bass player, sure, I could just turn up and blag it and wing it. What's the point? Don't turn up. Don't take the money. You know, if you're not going to put the work in, don't do it. Don't agree to it. But I have to sit there, any tribute I play, and I have to learn it. If it's something I've played before, then I've probably already got notes and stuff on my PC. I'm very lucky that when I do ABBA stuff, I learnt it so thoroughly 25 years ago that I really only have to run through it once or twice here at home. If it's been a bit of a gap between gigs, and I might, you know, give it a day, but I certainly won't need that. It's all kind of up there. Queen stuff is a little different. I run that before every gig. Even though I know the song's back to front, it's just to get it under the fingers. And again, with the Queen tributes, one of them has like 2 or 3 tracks that have got keyboard parts on, but generally the Freddie plays the piano parts. He plays it really well, but there isn't a hell of a lot filling out the sound as Queen didn't have. You know, it's one guitar, one bass, drums, vocal. That's it. The songs with piano have got that, but the other songs haven't. So, you know, I've got to make sure that I'm pretty on point when it comes to doing the Queen bass lines. They're written meticulously. They are orchestrated to fill the frequencies. That's, you know, that's a skill in itself, bands that are able to do that. You know, and that's why, you know, that's why Queen are so revered when they were writing material, is that, you know, they looked at everything frequency wise. That's why their songs sound so full. So, you know, but there is a definite thing with drummers. I don't want to be castigating drummers. They're my best friends generally, but I've worked with a few and it is just blatant, you know, even at sound check, you say, do you want to run a couple of these? No, it's all right. What they don't want to do is be found out at sound check. So they'll wait until the gig and then let it all go wrong. It's too late then. You can't explain anything to them. But there's been a couple who've even written out charts and they're following it in the gig. And I'm looking at them going, you don't know what you're playing. And I don't know what you've written out as a chart, but that is not the drum part for that song. Not in a month of Sundays. So I hope that answers that one for you. Sorry, I don't want to moan and gripe about it, but it does drive me insane. I'm sorry. Approximating parts, not in a tribute band. If it was my tribute band or I was running it and someone came in and did that as a debt, I would never use them again. I know I'd be getting the phone calls going, oh, you don't ring me anymore. It's like, well, you didn't learn it. So, you know, I don't care what your approximation is. I want to hear what the original part is. And if you haven't got the time or good manners to learn it, then you don't deserve the money. So there we are. Me on my soapbox, sorry. Good question. Well done. Hopefully you feel the same. Oh, cool. I'm working. It's Dave, isn't it? Q Dave Q. Of course you've been here before. Sorry, just caught me unawares the handle. Steffi, you are so right, Mike. Well, just my take on it, you know. But there's no excuse with a tribute band. You know, the original artist has worked everything out for you. You just got to copy it. That's it. That's all people want. Unless your band is based around a niche when you're doing a tribute to someone. So, you know, unless there's a niche angle to it, you're just learning what they've written. That's it. We're on the same page, Dave. Of course. It's a bit different with singers. Sometimes they might pick a slightly different melody line. But certainly in terms of band members, you know, just learn the parts. It's easy. It's easy in terms of there's no brain power required. You've just got to listen to the songs and copy the part. That's it. Oh, I try, Mum. I try. That's just my take on it, you know. And I know a lot of tribute band leaders who insist that you learn everything as it's written. As it's written. Not your version, not your interpretation, not you thinking you've come up with a better part than is on the original. Unless there's rehearsals, everyone is relying on each other to learn, you know, what they've got to learn. If you don't learn it and you do your version, the rest of the band stinks, you know, especially with drums. For me, what's the gig I did? I did something recently. The drummer was just so all over the place. Try to remember what it was. Just wasn't good. Wasn't good, and it was a tribute, and it just. I remember actually I stood there and I was saying to myself, you might as well just play any old rubbish because no one is going to know the difference, because whatever you play that's correct ain't fitting with what he's playing. But there we go. That's my take on it. Any other questions, Dave? I can see the this bass on the screen. Needs a good clean. Needs a good wipe. Actually, it's going to be getting a string change very soon, and it will be on a live chat. We're going to do some live chats from the workshop over some of the coming weeks, and I'll be there replacing strings, setting basses up, doing all the technical bits and bobs. So if you've got any questions, save them up for the next couple of weeks, and we will start doing them in there, in the workshop. So if you've got any bass setup questions, anything you'd like to ask, you can ask now if you wish, or you can wait until we're doing them in the workshop, and either I can talk you through if you're looking for a solution for something, or how do I do this, how do I do that, you can do it then. But if you've got any questions now, feel free. Don't ask me electronics, pickups and circuitry. That's not my thing. You know, if there's a chip gone down on your circuit, I can't help you. You need to go to someone else or go back to the manufacturer. But in terms of setting your bass up, getting the frets right, looking after the wood, the timbers, cleaning them up, polishing them, getting the action, intonation, pickup height all sorted, I can do that. Dave, that's great, thanks. I can't usually make the live chat, but watch what I can afterwards. Anytime, mate. They're there on the channel. They can be watched and accessed at any point. Cool, no problem. If you have a question regarding workshop stuff, you can send it to me in advance and I'll address it when we do those videos. That's no problem at all. Actually, these strings are very much on their way. Not quite as dead as the ones on the Empathy, but they're certainly getting into that arena. These have been on since early May last year, 2022. I only really used the space for doing the Queen shows, but I think there might have been a couple of weddings I did with it summer last year. So it's not surprising they need changing. But the Status Empathy has now reached gig 71 in the bass string experiment series. I did a little video clip for gig 70, which was Friday, and I was quite adamant they might not go any further, but I thought, do you know what, let's see how they fare on Saturday at gig 71. And they were all right. They sounded a bit rough out of the Uncle Funk frequencies that we have in that band, and so I was playing with a different band. Obviously everyone's playing in a different sort of frequency range than the setup we have in Uncle Funk, but yeah, it got through. So gig 71's done. So this Saturday, Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno in Harlow Playhouse will be gig number 72. It's obscene. How has a set of rotor sound round wound steel strings lasted for 72 gigs? I couldn't tell you. I haven't cleaned them. I haven't looked after them. I've done nothing except install them on that bass and play that bass from gig to gig to gig to gig, and they're still going. Kev Smith, Mike, have you seen the Rolling Stoned tribute band? They are great. Here's a little story for you, Kev. I was nearly in that band. I auditioned for them in 1998. So I can't remember the name of the guy that plays Brian Jones, but he used to be in the Counterfeit Stones, and he left to set up the Rolling Stoned so that he could be in charge and pocket the lion's share of the money. I auditioned for them back in March 1998. The guy who looks like Keith Richards in that band, I can't remember his name. Is it Dave? I think it's Dave. I met him a few times before that audition. He suddenly appeared on various gigs with mates' bands that I knew here in London. And I turned up for that audition and he was there. He wanted the bass job. And I said, but mate, you look like Keith Richards. And I don't want to be rude, but he looked like Keith Richards. You kind of knew how he was going to smell by his look, if that kind of makes sense. That's about as polite as I can make it. He was quite rude and obnoxious because he seemed to think the job was his. And I remember saying to the Brian Jones, I said, he looks like Keith Richards. You can't, you know, if he's meant to look like Bill Wyman, he doesn't look anything like Bill Wyman, and he certainly doesn't look anything like Darryl Jones. But he looks like Keith Richards. You need him on guitar, not bass. And actually, I knew by the time I'd done my slot at the audition, that band weren't for me. I didn't get offered it, and to be honest, if I had, I probably wouldn't have taken it. And I'm really surprised they're even still going, because I think there were some major changes after that audition, and they got the band up and running. I think quite a few people actually left the band, because when I saw a picture of the band maybe a year or two ago, I didn't recognise anyone apart from the Brian Jones and the Keith Richards lookalike. So I know of them. I auditioned for them, but I've never actually been to see them do a gig or any of that. I saw the Counterfeit Stones a few times. They used to play at Kingston Uni a lot when I was there. And I actually saw them just before Christmas 1992. I think they were like the last gig before university closed for Christmas. And Jimmy White, the snooker player, was there watching. He was mates with them. And he used to go along to all their gigs if he wasn't sort of potting the balls, you know. So it was 1992, 31 years ago. Crazy. But yeah, I've not crossed paths with them since that audition. So that was 25 years ago. 25 and a half. I'm trying to remember what that guy's name was that played Brian Jones. He's quite a distinctive name. Let me see. I could certainly take me away from the live chat. I'm not going to do that. My mum, Stacey, do your channel, or does your channel, you have all it takes to make it brilliant. There you go. You've got a vote of confidence from my mum, Stacey. For those who don't know what we're talking about, Stacey, who's regularly here on the live chats, has her own YouTube channel. So if you're into hair design, beauty, brows, having your nails done, check out her channel. You can just click on the label, her name label here in the live chat, take you through to her channel. She just started putting up videos. Yeah, so here we are. It's 8:41 here in London town. This is live chat 59 here on Brooks's Bass Corner. Hope you're all safe and well out there. I hope your bass playing's going great. Got any problems or looking for some advice on bass gear? Could be a bass, could be an amp, could be a speaker, could be a combo, could be pedals, strings, cleaning accessories, cloths, gig bags, you name it. If it's anything to do with bass and you need some answers or some advice, or you just want to make a comment, then feel free. Put your cursor, your insertion point, or your arrow into the live chat window. If you're on the mobile app, it's directly below. If you're on the desktop version, it's that way. And put your comment in, press send, and it will pop up here on my live chat. And then I can reply to you. It works as easy as that. Yeah. I'm expecting a few of the regulars probably out on watching level 42 tonight. I think they're up in Liverpool, I think. Anyone go to see Wolverhampton on Sunday or Stoke last night? Generally seems to have been favourable reviews online of the show so far. Stacey, thank you, Sue. I'm refining the bits and bobs on my laptop as I'm watching this live chat. Multitasking. Excellent. Can't have you sitting there doing nothing. I'm a bit wheezy. When I'm laughing, I can hear a little wheeze in the back of my throat. I had a cold last week. Anyone that was here on the live chats would know I was sneezing and coughing all my way through that live chat. Tuesday was the worst day. By Wednesday, I was on the mend. Now I'm all right. Just got the husky throat, really, and a little bit bunged up in the nose, but not too bad. Colds don't last long with me. So yeah, here we are. Now, I've got here, actually to my right, I've got a Brooks's Bass Corner hoodie. So for those, normally I'm wearing it, so you can't see what's on the back. So obviously you can see this design, the exploding bass, blue t-shirt. Well, we've got the same thing on this hoodie. Came out really well. I think on these charcoal grey hoodies, this looks great. So that's what's on the back of that hoodie that I'm usually wearing on these live chats. It looks great. You can buy these in the merchandise store. I think they're about 34, 35 quid. Links are in the description box. There's a UK and Europe store and a US and worldwide store, but the hoodies are great. The product itself is great, but the print, so that's been washed about 7 or 8 times, maybe a bit more. Doesn't look like it's fading to me. So yeah, but they're so comfy. This is my go-to sort of when I when we finish a gig, you get in the car ready to drive home. That's my clothing of choice. Comfortable, warm, fabulous. Works for me. Now, I would expect a few of the regulars may well appear after 9 o'clock, so we'll carry on. But if you've got any questions, guys, or any comments, what you've been up to gig-wise, playing-wise, let me know. Welcome to all the new subscribers. There's been a flurry of them this week. So before last week's live chat, we were around about 3,036, 3,037. Today we're on 3,045. So we've had 8 or 9 new subscribers since last week. Actually, there's more than that, because what happens is you get like a steady trickle every day. You get 1, 2, maybe 3, and then they drop off, which could be people unsubscribing. It could also be people getting rid of their YouTube account, but you never know. So it kind of sort of goes up and down and then up and down. But we're getting there, slowly but surely. Numbers are growing. But if you're new to the channel, you're very welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for coming along. Stacey, wow, that's really held up vibrancy wise too. Talking about the design on the back of the hoodie. Yeah, it does. They all do, actually. All the t-shirts, they wash great. Wash great, iron great. Colours haven't faded on any of them. So, very pleased. So if you were wondering before you bought some merch, or is it just cheap tat? It's not. Really good quality gear. I'd be very disappointed if it was, well, put it this way, if the quality of the products was bad, I'd have got rid of using that company. I wouldn't have carried on at all. But actually the stuff is great, I have to say. Very good. So yeah, other bass news, what have I got for you? Some possible review stuff, new gear possibly coming my way very shortly for reviews. There's a couple of basses, a couple of amps, a couple of pedals. We'll see. But I had communications from a company who I know quite well, who was saying, "Do you need some more stuff for your channel?" It's like, yeah. So watch this space, coming through soon. It's a lovely looking thing, isn't it? A Bernie special there from GB Guitars. Wasn't built for me, it was built for someone else. But I saw it before it headed out to its first owner in 2005. And I remember saying to Bernie, "I'm going to own that." You know, "I don't think you will. Customer's been after it for ages." I said, "Watch me." A couple of years later, he'd already sold it to someone else. And then it appeared on eBay. And I was like, right, I'm having it now then. That was that. Ben Kennedy, hey, how you doing? Happy to be back here. What's the best way to clean a maple fretboard? Going to a studio with my band to record a single soon. The P-Bass needs a bit of a clean-up for the event. Okay, has it got a gloss coat on the fingerboard? Or is it gloss all the way over? Or is it satin on the fingerboard? Is it an old, right, it's P-Bass, isn't it? So it's probably got a polyurethane gloss coat around the fingerboard and the neck. So first thing first would be to give it a clean. So for that, I generally would use, well, I use something called Simple Green. Now you're going to struggle here in the UK to get that unless you buy it in a big bottle. You can buy it in bulk. It's an American cleaning fluid with no nasty products in it. It's really good. And that will clean all the rubbish and the gunk, finger juice and sweat and grime and everything else. And then because it's got a gloss coat, or I'm assuming it's got a gloss coat, unless you tell me otherwise, if it's just a gloss coat, that's really all you need to do. When you've got a bare fingerboard, like I've got Pal Ferro here on this Precision, but if it's a rosewood fingerboard, the maple fretboard, if it was a rosewood one, I'd say boiled linseed oil, Dr. Duck's Axe Wax, any of the Dunlop products, Ernie Ball polishes, they would all do for that. But because it's maple, I'm guessing it's got a gloss finish on it, you can probably just use the simple green. That will be fine. If it's an old P base and it's got a nitro finish, then you need to be a little more careful. So for that, I would suggest something like maybe the Ernie Ball Wonder Wipes. That will both clean it up. You're not really protecting anything with a gloss coat. That's why it's there. It's to protect the wood. So really, you're just getting the crap off it. You can't season the wood because it's all covered in the gloss. But if it's satin, then yes, something like Dr. Duck's Axe Wax, that will help. Or again, the Wonder Wipes as fretboard conditioner. But this is the thing, P base with a gloss coat on the fingerboard, you're really just cleaning. You can't condition the wood or lubricate the timber. That's what the gloss coat's there for. So yeah, that would be my suggestion. So if you're going for Dunlop products, you're going to be looking probably, I'd use so you could have the Fingerboard 01 Cleaner and Prep, that one, and then you want the 65 Polish and Cleaner, and that'll do it. If you had a rosewood or something, then you could probably use Cleaner and Prep and then do the deep conditioner, which is for like open timber, so rosewood, ebony, wengi, all that sort of caper. But as I say, because it's probably got a gloss finish on it because it's maple. That's a pedal. It's a tuner. No, that's the aftershock pedal. Oh well, be getting down there tomorrow. Yeah, but because it's got a gloss finish, all you're doing is cleaning it. You're not really conditioning or looking after the wood. It's just cleaning the gunk off the gloss. I haven't got a base immediately to hand with a gloss finish. They're all in the rack over there. It would require too much manoeuvring to get over there. So yes, that's my suggestion for you, Ben, I would say. Now, there is also a product that I used in, if you go on the channel, there's, in fact, make it easy, I'll put a link in here for you. Hold on. Bear with me a moment. I'll put a link in here for you. So a couple of months ago, I did this video on my Lakeland Skyline 4464, which has a kind of satin maple neck and board. And there's a product in there called Maple Butter. Got it from Base Direct here in the UK. Now the company, I think they're called DGI Labs, something like that. They do a thing called Fret Butter, which is basically for any guitar and bass neck. And then obviously Sun Bright Spark has gone, we need a maple only product. So they've done this thing called Maple Butter. Now I tested it before I used it on the Lakeland, and I don't know how much it actually does. I don't know. I used a cloth on my Stingray on that fingerboard, and I didn't really notice that a lot of gunk came off it. Maybe the fingerboard isn't that dirty on that bass. But I'm going to use that Maple Butter on a bunch of other maple fingerboards that I've got here over sort of the next 6 to 12 months, and we'll see. Now you might want to get some. I think it's like £9 a bottle. You might find it does everything you need. But again, you're not really dealing with the maple fingerboard. You're dealing with the gloss coat. But obviously, if you've got like an oiled finish maple board and neck, like Music Man were producing through the mid to late 90s and through the 2000s, that product might well do the business. But I used it on the Lakeland. Didn't take a lot off. But having said that, that base isn't particularly old. It's only a couple of years old. I don't know what the previous owners put it through. The frets were dirty, but the fingerboard wasn't. Don't know what was going on there. Maybe they were using manky old strings, and that was discolouring the frets, perhaps. Maybe. Maybe. So I hope that helps you. Yeah, we all assume with maple fingerboards with gloss coats that you know, there's got to be some super fancy cleaning product, but all you're doing is cleaning the gloss coat. You can't actually get to the wood. It's under the gloss coat. Satins are different, and open fingerboards, that's another thing as well. The P bases of 2021 made in Mexico player series would say it's my number one. From what I know, it's a polyurethane finish on the fretboard and satin on the back of the neck. Okay, you'll notice polyurethane. Is it shiny and glossy? And does it feel like if you look at a base with a gloss coat, so for example this, okay, it's got a gloss coat. Is that what's on the fingerboard? Or is it like this? So this is a satin finish on that fingerboard. It's not a gloss coat. It doesn't matter if I tap it. It's a satin finish. Same on the back, satin. It's like a satin rubbed gloss is kind of how that would be described. But satin finishes come in a number of variations. So it would be odd that you'd have a satin neck and a polyurethane finish. I have a feeling you've got satin finish front and back. Just don't try maple syrup, says Cass. No, quite right. You need that on your ice cream or your bacon if you're that way inclined. Well done, Cass. Very good. We're just coming up 9 o'clock here in London, here in the UK. Hope you're well, wherever you are on the planet. Welcome to all our US friends. Anyone checking in from around the world outside the UK, very welcome. Good to see you. Okay, as we're coming up top of the hour, I'll do the old channel thing, the channel advert. So welcome to Brooks's Bass Corner, live chat number 59 here on the YouTube channel. We do this every Tuesday at 8 o'clock here in London town, here in the UK. Good to see you. Welcome. Thank you for joining in. Welcome to the new subscribers, of which there seems to be quite a few over the past week. So thank you very much for getting involved and coming on board. It's good to see you. So this is the video window. Directly below is the live chat window if you're on the mobile app. If you're on desktop version, live chat window is that way. How does this work? It's a two-way conversation between me and you, kind of, and the group of people we have here on the live chat. So if you've got any questions about basses, bass guitars, bass amps, speakers, combos, bass strings, gig bags, pedals, cleaning items, leads, 1,000,001 accessories, put your insertion point, your cursor, your pointer, whatever you want, into the live chat window, type your comment or question, press send, it pops up here. As soon as I see it, I can respond to it. If I can't help or I don't know how to solve the problem you've got, I'll open it up to one of the fine people here on the live chat, and chances are someone will know, which is all good. So at the bottom of the live chat window, you've got an emoji icon. Feel free to give that an absolute pummeling. So add emojis to the conversation as you wish. The more the better. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. It thinks you're getting involved in the conversation and you're enjoying what we're talking about here on the live chat. Next to it, you'll see a dollar symbol. That's called Super Chat. That allows you to make a financial contribution to the channel, should you wish to do so. You don't have to. The videos are free to watch, and you can watch them at any time. So if we do something on a live chat and you think, oh, I need to go back, this will be available on the channel as soon as we're finished. So you can go back and reference anything that we talk about at any time. That's all good. So that's Super Chat. There's also a facility here in the icons below the video window. You'll see a love heart and a dollar symbol. That's called Super Thanks, which works in exactly the same way. But Super Thanks applies to every video here on the channel because we're a monetized channel. So again, if you wish to make a financial donation to the channel or a contribution, you can do it through Super Chat or you can do it through Super Thanks. Now, directly below the video window, you'll see a thumbs up and a thumbs down. Please give the video a thumbs up. That helps massively with the YouTube algorithm. So if you're enjoying this live chat or you enjoy the content here on the channel, you like what we do, then please feel free to give this video and any other video on the channel a thumbs up. It really does make a big difference. Feel free to leave any comments in the comments section. That also helps with the algorithm. So there's a thumbs up and a thumbs down. If you're going to give the video a thumbs down, then please just leave a comment as well, so I can find out what you didn't like about the video or what you don't like about the channel. That's the only way I can make things better. So if you give me some feedback, I can try and improve the videos. Next to the thumbs up, thumbs down, you've got the share button. So you can share this video out to social media, websites and email. You'll see this shop button, which basically will show you Brooks's Base Corner branded merchandise, some of which we have here, of course. And then next to that, you'll see the Super Thanks option. So as I've just explained, if you want to make a financial contribution to the channel, you can certainly do so. Underneath those options, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you get notifications when I'm posting up new material and content. And again, please give the video a thumbs up. It does make a big difference. A lot of people think, oh, it doesn't matter. No, it does. It does. When we go into the analytics for our videos, you can see what each video's had in terms of thumbs up, thumbs down, number of comments, how many people enjoy the video. You get all of that information so I can see it. Now, in the description box, you'll find links for the merchandise. So there's a UK and Europe store, and there's a US and worldwide store. So in there, you'll find caps, t-shirts, hoodies, mouse mats, mugs, like that. Water bottles, beer mugs, beer glasses, socks, phone cases, iPhone cases, iPad cases, lunch boxes. There's literally about 160 to 170 items of merchandise for each design. So that's one design, that's another design, that's another design. You can apply the designs to literally any of the merchandise that's in the stores. All of that helps the channel. So if you don't want to do Super Chat or Super Thanks and you'd actually like to buy something, so it means you've got something for the money you've spent helping the channel, merchandise is a great way to do that. There's also affiliate links underneath the merch links for Thomann, Amazon, Gear for Music and ANDERTONS. So if you've got any bass related purchases coming up, so maybe a new pedal, a new bass, strings, leads, gig bags, accessories, maybe you need a new amplifier, new speaker. If you've got one of those purchases coming up, you can help the channel by clicking on any of the affiliate links in the description box. It'll take you through to that retailer, add the products that you're looking for to your basket, go through with the purchase. And once you do that, the channel then receives a very small, I mean small, affiliate commission. But over time, all those small commissions add up to be something a little more substantial. So those are the ways you can help the channel. Underneath the affiliate links, you'll find social media links for Facebook, Twitter, which is now called X, Instagram, Be Real, Reddit, Quora, Discord, TikTok, and Threads. Done. That was quite succinct, I thought. Well done. So let's see, we've got any more messages here on the live chat? Doesn't look like it. My cousin Tom hasn't appeared yet, and he said he was going to, threatening me with a visit tomorrow. But we might have to waylay that because we have an ill person here at home. We will see. Here we are. So if you've been out gigging since we did live chat last week, let me know where you were, who were you playing with, what basses you were using, what gear you were using. Mum, socks. Yeah, there are socks on there. I think they're only available in the US store though. I haven't seen the socks. Can you show me a pair of socks? Winter is on its way. 2 seconds. I don't think you can have them, Mum. They're in the US store. Here we go. Give me a minute. Do. Not sure what bit that comes under. Ah, here we go. Other. That's bags. That's not socks. Umbrellas. Those who like an umbrella. Aprons. I need to do a search, don't I? Socks. Oh. Can't find them. Might have been taken off, Mum. Tell you what, let me go into... bear with me a moment. No, it's not that. Give me a moment. Let's just log in. We can do this. They were certainly on there before. They were on there before because I know, because I was designing them. Right, products, here we go. Right, bear with me a moment, guys and girls. Ankle socks, here we go. There are ankle socks. Oh, there are ankle socks on there. I just don't have time to sit here and go through all the stuff, but there are ankle socks. Ben, just looked at the specs for my P-Bass and fooled myself. It's a satin finish all around the neck. See, I thought that might be the case. It'd be a bit odd that they put a gloss finish on the fingerboard and a satin on the neck. It's either all going to be satin or it'll all be gloss. Very rare that they would do that unless it was spec'd, and it's a Mexican player series, so you've probably bought that from a retailer or a store. You haven't had that custom made. So right, so satin then, I would suggest something like Dr. Duck's Axe Wax or like the Ernie Ball Wonder Wipes, I would say, for that. or the simple green if you can, if you are prepared to buy some. I had to buy it in bulk, a big bottle of it. Dave's World of Fun Stuff turned me onto that, and it's great stuff. You just can't buy it over here unless you're a cleaning company. But I bought a big enough bottle. I think I got it through Amazon a couple of years ago. You're going to have a look, are you, Mum? You're going to be looking at the US one. You can't buy them for, it's going to cost you more in duty and shipping than it is for the product. Don't worry about it. They're ankle socks anyway. They're not proper socks. You'll get cold ankles, dear. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Actually, I wonder if I can. I don't know why it's not showing those socks, but hang on. Was it that? It might have been that. Right, now try it. No, still saying doesn't yield any results. I've applied it. That's a shame. Anyway, feel free to have a mooch around the merchandise stores, guys and girls, if that's your thing. It helps the channel, and you get some rather natty looking gear. I think we're up to date with all the messages. Let me just check that there. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. No Lewis Wingrove yet. Lord knows what he's playing at. Probably off looking at pedals. Who can blame him? Here we are. I'm just looking at the gear, thinking if there's anything I need to tell you. Well, I think we're up to date on everything over the past couple of weeks. So like I say, next episode of Bass String Experiment, hopefully. I can't see any reason tomorrow why it's not going to happen. The dog doesn't have to go off for a knee operation. We've dealt with that. So, yeah. Gigs 15 to 19. And then after that, it would be 20 to 24. And in fact, I can see just on the other side of the camera is my sheet for all the videos and the ratings. At the end of each Bass String Experiment video, I give the strings a rating. They're all written down over there because I've been filming and doing the voiceovers. So those will be very imminent. Hope you enjoy it. Lord knows. I apologise for the delay in those videos. My goodness. I mean, we are actually, gig 15 was this time last year. So we're a little overdue, to put it politely. But I hope you enjoy it. Following me on my travels, my gigging travels. And I had a mate say, have you only done that number of gigs in a year? And it was like, no, I've done more than that. Like when I do Queen gigs, I have to use this. I can't really use a status. It doesn't look right. Yes, I know it needs a wipe. full start. No, so I use that when I'm doing the Queen gigs. There's been quite a few Queen gigs in the last year. And if you added those in, I'd probably be closer to about 100 in that series, but 'tis what it is. Ben Kennedy, used the P bass for my band's first gig back in September. Was a workhorse that night and played an acoustic amp provided by the venue. Can't remember the specific type, but it sounded incredible. Acoustic were incredible. That was Jaco Pastoris's backline of choice. Acoustic amplification. I actually own John Deacon's 1x18, which is basically in the same sort of cab as an 8x10. He had two. I own number one. It was the cab that Bohemian Rhapsody, the bass line for Bohemian Rhapsody, was recorded from, as well as We Are the Champions and probably Killer Queen. A whole bunch of very large Queen hits were recorded on until he stopped using them back in 78, 79. So actually you can see it in the We Will Rock You and Spread Your Wings video clips from Roger Taylor's Garden. So the official promo videos, I've got that. So yeah, acoustic, seriously good. Graham, do you have a preferred height for string action, buddy? Well now, mate, it depends on the bass. It depends on the bass and what I'm using that bass for. So my GBs generally are relatively low to medium. Don't normally have them boosted. However, pulled the bass out on a gig on Saturday and the weather change had caused the action to really drop. So I had to adjust the truss rod and increase the string height, and I put it up quite a bit, probably medium to sort of low high, if that makes sense. And it played great, sounded great. It was there as my backup, but I had to set it up before we did the show in case a string went on the empathy. So generally it depends on the bass and what you're playing. So obviously when I'm doing Queen stuff with this, I'm not going to have a low action on this. It just isn't going to sound right, be very clattery. And also this bass is a little prone to environmental changes, shall we say. So changes in temperature and humidity. This thing, it's not that it plays up, but it just, you'd be playing the Queen stuff and then the next day pull the bass out the gig bag and it's like, it's dropped. It's dropped. So I do occasionally have to give this a bit of fettling. It's fine. But also it depends on the gauge of strings you're using. So I don't have a one size fits all preferred height, if that makes sense. And usually if I'm setting basses up, not so much with Fenders because it's a standard, but when I'm doing things like Spectres, maybe Mestates, Dingwalls, I'll refer to the manufacturer's website or their support pages, find out what they're suggesting, set it up, and then if I think that's too low or too high, at least I've gone to the point that they're sort of sending their instruments out from the factory set up at those measurements. But no, mate, really, I don't have a preferred height. Generally medium. I don't like things super low, but I don't like them super high either. It just causes you more problems. So I tend to go for like a medium and then work it from there. But yeah, I can't give you a definitive sort of inch or measurement or millimeter measurement for that, I'm afraid. NSJ Music, good to see you. Also, acoustic was Aston Barrett's backline of choice. I think in the 70s, a lot of players used it instead of going for Ampeg. I think they just loved the tone they got out of acoustic stuff. Yeah, Aston Barrett, what a player. Kev Mack, hey Brooksy Bass Gang, a bit under the weather today. I'm sorry to hear that. Wanted to check in, hoping you may help with a gear problem. You try me out, Kev Mack. Feel free, fire away. NSJ Music, I meant acoustic is also Aston Family Man Barrett's backline of choice. I got it the first time, mate. Yeah, I can wholeheartedly agree. I've never, I mean, that John Deacon cabinet, I've never plugged it in. Never fired it up yet. I'm just dreading doing it, and either it doesn't work or something goes pop. So at some point I will. Chris Childs was actually going to bring his Selma amp round once, and we were going to fire his amp up and fire my cab up with that amp. We haven't done it yet. There's still time. So Kev Mac, what's the gear problem? I'm waiting for your gear question, Kev. What do you need to know? I've been wanting to try the dirty clean thing with a guitar amp, okay, and a bass amp. You mean kind of like Stanley Clarke does? Or did? Okay. Okay. Put some more meat on the bones, Kev. Medine Caddy, hi, welcome. Don't recognise the name. If this is your first time here on Brooks's Bass Corner, welcome. Any bass questions? Fire away. Anyone going to see Billy Sheehan on his current visit to the UK with Winery Dogs? They're back for round 2 of their UK travels, currently in the country. Ben Kennedy, I normally like having a medium low action with my P bass, mainly because I love playing lines that move fluently across the neck. Good for you, sir. What gauge strings are you using on your P bass? I've got 4505s here. Oh. Using the very same as you, wrote sound 66, 4505. There you go, see, man of taste. I've always said that. Ben Kennedy, man of taste. Kev Mack, yes, like the bassist in Peter Gabriel, okay, Tony Levin. Name I forgot, and like I have everything I need, AB Box, et al. How to hook it all up. Okay. Right, I'm trying to think. Well, I don't know what Tony Levin's setup is. So you might need to see if there's like a gig, a rig rundown on YouTube, maybe. So I'm guessing on that bass, he's outputting individual outputs from each pickup. So the way Stanley Clarke used to do it, and Chris Squire, of course, with Patrick. Good to see you, Patrick Sweeney. Would be you'd have stereo output, so you'd have one output per pickup, and then you decide one pickup's going to go to one amp and one pickup's going to go to the other. So, for example, with Billy Sheehan, of course, where he has his Yamaha Attitude, which I've got one over there, he's got the woofer pickup there that goes to one rig, and the P pickup goes to another rig, and then you sort out how you want that pick up the sound on the amp. That's it. So you got both. Then if you're running into a PA system, obviously you're miking up from that point, and then you've got another run of EQ that you need to sort out on the mixing desk. But that's generally how that would work. So do you know what bass you're using, Kev? Then is it I guess if you're not using stereo pickup layout, then you're just going into an AB box in mono into a box, and then you're going to take two separate outputs, one going to one rig and the other going to the guitar amp, and then it's what you want to do with it. Is this in a studio, or is this live, or what are you using this for, or is it just at home? Medine Caddy, I've never played an instrument before, but I've been thinking of buying a bass guitar lately. Very good. You're in the right place. Good choice. Just checking out some bass live streams here and there. Feel free. Anything you want to ask, fire away. If I don't know the answer, one of the fine learned people we have here may well be able to help. But that's what we're here for. Every Tuesday from 8 o'clock here in London, UK time, we're here. We're all the way up until December the 19th. So about a week before Christmas, we have these regular Tuesday live chats. So if you want some advice, on buying your first bass, more than happy to help with that. What qualifies me to do that? Well, I've been playing bass for 36 years, 28 as a pro. I wrote for Bass Guitar Magazine and Bass Player Magazine from 2004 to last year, 2022. I've had over, I think it's 400 or 500 basses through my doors here for review. More pedals reviewed than I care to remember. Lots of amps, lots of combos, lots of speakers. I've seen gear come and go. So if I can help you in any way to become a bass player, I'm more than happy to do that. It's a life of happiness. Apart from when it all goes wrong, then it's clearly not. Beefush, can't say I've ever seen you here on the channel, but welcome. What do pedals actually do? Depends what the pedal is. So basically, it's either going to color your tone, or it's going to give you sounds and tones that you can't get out of the bass generally. So I could delve into my huge box of pedals over there. Let me tell you what I use pedals for. So for years I didn't. I was in a covers band, 3-piece covers band, and I played clean. I had no effects. I had loads of them. I just never used them. We very rarely ever needed to use effects in that band. Then I bought my first octave pedal, which was an EBS grey label. I can see it actually in the box over there, which was an octave pedal. So that would have been 2001. So at that time, a lot of the sounds like Nick Fife from Jamiroquai was getting, a lot of the funky bass players were making use of octave pedals. And the real joy of an octave pedal is, if you're playing a line on a bass, this will do, and you're playing on the D or G strings, or you're playing higher up, anything above generally like a low C, so anything that way, if you play with an octave pedal, you're going to get the note you're playing and an octave below. So I'm sorry, that's not a good example. So it's going to sound like a root and an octave played together. So if you do a line that's high up, you get that reinforcement of the low note as well. So that became sort of a staple on my gig setup. So I was clean other than that octave pedal. And then invariably, then you start to hear sounds, and certain records have sounds. For example, Lenny Kravitz, Fly Away, it's got a phaser on it. You want to get that sound, you can play it clean, but it's not going to have the pizzazz of the original. So get a bass phaser. Then there's chorus. So if you play fretless, or even if you don't play fretless, makes the bass sound swell, gives it more character. So all these different pedals have different effects. So on my pedal board now, once I left that covers band, I was then in another covers band again, didn't really use effects much. Just before we went into lockdown because of COVID, I was asked to join a disco show band, which then allowed me to bring all the pedals out. So all the envelope filters, octave pedals, fuzzes, anything that creates some funky sounds and gives me some different sort of tonal textures and all that, get it all out. So initially I set a pedal board up that had a tuner, a Digitech drop pedal that allowed me to, I could play a bass, and depending how I set the control, I can drop down in semitones. So I could be playing a D. If I set it to one semitone down, it would play a C sharp. If it was two semitones down, it would play a C. And that would go all the way down to an octave below. So it has its own octave effect within the pedal. It's great. Then I had a EBS octabass on there. I had an Electro Harmonics knockout EQ pedal. I had MXR Bass Fuzz Deluxe. I had the Aguilar Filter Twin, which is an envelope filter. EBS Black Label Chorus. There's one or two others on there as well. Then that goes into an Aguilar Tone Hammer pedal, which then goes out to the front house. And that band we run on in-ears. I don't have any backline. There's no monitoring on stage. It's all through IEMs. I love it. Allows me to travel light. So literally on a gig, I have a bass, pedal board, either a big one or a small one, my in-ears, an iPad for doing my own mix, and two cables. That's it. That's pretty much it. So once you start delving into the world of pedals, you're going to hear sounds that apply, or you're going to hear tracks, and you suddenly think, why can't I get my bass to sound like that? Sometimes there's an effect on it, or a series of effects, a chain of effects, and that can make a big difference. So it's a world of discovery, but if you can find out what the original player was using to get those sounds, invariably you can go and buy that effect unit as well. But now at the moment, I'm currently using a slimmed down version of that pedal board I described. So it's got a tuner, Digitech drop, EBS octabass, Aguilar Filter Twin, and then the Aguilar Tone Hammer. That's done pretty much all the gigs since the end of 2021. But I have here, you'll see a variety of pedals that I've bought in the past sort of 18 months. There will be video review and video demos of these, and these need to start getting incorporated onto my bigger pedal board. There'll be a video of that at some point. It's one I keep threatening to do, just never have the time to sit and do it. It will happen. So what have I got here? I've got a C4 Source Audio synth pedal. It's got lots of options and stuff in there. I've got the Source Audio Spectrum filter pedal, MXR Poly Blue octave pedal, MXR bass envelope filter, and the MXR vintage bass octave, and a brand new spanking Boss TU3 tuner, which will go onto my pedal train board for festivals for next year. Hope that helps, but feel free to ask me more questions about pedals if you wish. Still Medine, by the way, just changed my username. Oh, okay. Didn't think it would display my full government name. No problem. That will be called your YouTube handle. So the name you're seeing there, that's called your handle. Any further questions on basses, amps, pedals, accessories, strings? Anything you'd like to know? Happy to help as much as I can. Ben Kennedy, in terms of bass EQ, do you like to have mids boosted? Yeah, it depends what I'm playing. So for years in my three-piece covers band, if I was using my Status Empathy, the Empathy has a sweepable mid. But unlike most basses that will have a dual mid control, so you have a frequency, like if I pull my Stingray out, I've got a mid frequency and then a mid sweep. I'm talking rubbish, aren't I? A mid frequency and a mid level. So you basically turn your boost up and then pan across the frequencies until you find your sweet spot for that stage or that band or that venue. And then you decide whether you want to boost it and by how much. On the Status, it's one control. So you basically have the control is the frequency sweep. Then there's a dip switch, not a dip switch, like a switch on the bass. Not unlike this, but it's a smaller one. Not unlike that, if that makes sense. So flick switch. And it goes 3 ways. So in the middle, it's flat. And so the mid control has no effect because there's no boost. No boost, no cut. If you have the switch up towards you, that's a mid EQ cut. So again, you pan around the mid sweep, the frequency sweep, and you'll hear those mid frequencies being cut out of your signal. If you flick the switch down away from you, then that's boosted. And at that point, you really hear the difference. So I can't remember what the dB boost is. Might be 8 dB, might be more. And again, if you pan around the frequencies, you'll then hear all the changes. And that's how that works. So if I'm using that bass, for years in that band, I just always had the mids on. Mids on, little treble boost, reasonable amount of bass boost. And then when I'm in the venue and with sound checking, I will find the sweet spot for the mids. With Uncle Funk, if I'm using the empathy, very rare that I boost the mids. We've got 9 of us, horns, keys, 3 main singers, BVs, guitar, bass. There's a lot going on. So I tend not to boost the mid frequencies on that unless we're doing Forget Me Nots, and I might give it a little push there. Or any of the songs where I've got a little bass, not bass section, but like when we do Boogie Oogie Oogie, Oogie Oogie Oogie, yeah, when we do that, there's a little bit as you come out of the second chorus, a little bass feature. So that's my little boost switch, and it suddenly projects the bass quite significantly. But I will always say to you, mid frequencies are your best friend as a bass player. Loads of basses that came out in the 80s have got active bass, active treble, and the amount of times I've heard players with those turned up and all you can hear is ding 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 ding, or there's no definition. It's one or the other. It's either paralyzing bottom end with this glassy top end. You can't really hear the note. That's what mids are about. They will give you note definition. And so many players, I mean, God, for years you'd see Trace Elliott's and Hartke amps with 10 and 11 band EQs, 12s on some of the traces, and everything's pushed up. Go in a rehearsal studio and all the EQs on full whack. What are you doing? You know, are you going to blow the speaker? You're going to blow the amp? Are you telling me you couldn't? Sometimes the best way to pronounce your highs is to bring some of the bottom end down. Yeah. And likewise, to boost some of your bottom end, just take some of the top end away. And people never think like that. They always think more. And that's what ends up with a smiley face, you know. Top and bottom and nothing in between. So in terms, do you like to have mids boosted? E.g., low mids boosted and high mids rolled back. That's generally my thing. Low mids will give you more power and definition. High mids will give you a degree of clank, and that's not always desirable. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, but I will always boost low mids first, and actually sometimes boost the low mids and bring some of the bottom end down. Depends how the amplifier is voiced and where the center points are on the frequencies. So yeah, I will always go for low mids first, boost those, and they will generally give you more power, more clarity, and more definition. Take away some of the woolliness if you've got your bottom end boosted as well. I tend to favor the first option from a P bass tone. Exactly that. Low mids, go for that. High mids will give you more presence, but that's not always desirable. What type of music do I mostly play? Across the board. A lot of rock, a lot of pop, a lot of soul, a lot of funk stuff. I don't really play jazz. It's not my bag. I'm not into thrash metal or anything like that. That doesn't mean it's not good. That's just my listening preference. But I do a lot of different stuff. I've done over 4,000 gigs in my career. So yeah, covered a lot of bases. So as well as having a lot of bases. But at the moment I do a 9-piece disco show band. I do Queen tributes, ABBA tributes, and a couple of wedding function bands. That's kind of what I do. You've got a handle, Mum. It's your name, you dope. Goodness me. I explained that, didn't I? You've got your handle is your name. That's what it, or what you've registered your channel as. Come on, get with it, Baggy. Kev Mac, some useful videos on bass EQ out there. I could do a few, actually. I should maybe look into that. Patrick Sweeney, when you go to a gig mic, what spares do you take? Obviously, a spare bass. I did, actually, Patrick, one of the early live chats, number 3 or number 4. If you look for it, I did. It was like an up-to-date version of the 20 essential items for your gig bag that I did for Bass Guitar Magazine in 2004. And I brought it up to date in that live chat, which was in 2021. It's live chat number 3 or 4. And I went through, I actually watched it not that long ago because I was going through it, picking out bits that I needed a reference. So it's all in there if you want to get into the nuts and bolts of it. And there's probably nuts and bolts in it. But generally, I want 3 jack-to-jack cables, a couple of pedal patch cables, 2 or 3 speak-on cables, a general jack-to-jack amp to speaker cable, and also I've got 2 amps that will use a jack to speak on. So I always carry 2 of those. Always got picks. They're normally in my black sort of bag that I've spoken about before, but in the gig case, I have a gig case. There's again another box with various thicknesses of pick. Spare strings, 2 or 3 different gauges, different materials. Pens, Sharpie markers, electrical tape, gaffer tape, 2 plug boards, power breaker, string snips, 2 pairs of pliers, thin-nosed and regular, 2 or 3 different Phillips screwdrivers, 2 or 3 different flathead screwdrivers, Allen keys, small screwdrivers, spare strap, there's always one of them in there, batteries, so AA's and 9 volts, I think that's fairly good. I used to have a torch in my gig case, but obviously mobile phones use torch on the phone. I think that might be it. Oh, a couple of spare plugs, 3-pin plugs. No, I think that's probably it, actually. I think that's it. I was going to do a video. I've even kept the thing from the live chat, the list of what to include. I was going to do an independent video. I don't know if I need to do it because the live chat kind of covers it, but people might not get it if they search for gig bag essentials. I did do a search to see how successful a video of that might be, and it didn't come up. I think the competition's too high. But that would be my suggestion, Patrick. I would say. Good questions tonight, gang. Good questions. It's good. This is good stuff. Very good questions, in fact. always a spare bass. Very rare that I don't take a spare bass. If I had to go in someone's car, so someone else was driving me to a gig and there wasn't room for 2 basses or a double gig bag, then that would be one of the few situations where I wouldn't be taking a spare. I used to take a spare when I was doing gigs in town and I was going in on the tube. I found the double gig bag just became really unwieldy on the tube. I did a gig a couple of weeks ago and took 1 bass. But I surmised that if a string went and I was using double ball ends, I can change the string very quickly between 2 songs, so it wouldn't be an issue. But for years, all my gig bags were double bags. And I think kind of as we were approaching COVID, I decided to go for the 1 bass, 1 bag policy. So you aren't carrying this 1 bag that weighs a ton. And the other thing is, on a lot of gig bags, when you've got 2 basses in there, the handles and the straps are under so much weight, they start ripping and tearing and parts of the gig bag start falling to bits. And I kind of got bored of having to keep buying double bags. So I've still got some, but I generally use 1, well, like here, 1 bass per bag. That kind of works for me in the situation I'm in at the moment. Yes, sir. This one out. Nice and bijou. Yeah. Don't see many of these anymore. Well, no, actually you do. You just can't have them made new. So we've got a status streamline here. What's that grabbing you? Oh, it's got the LEDs in too. Excellent. Bought to go abroad and do gigs, and then British Airways and most other plane companies won't let you take an instrument into the cabin. So it doesn't really come out on travels anymore. It did 2 gigs abroad and that was it. Same here, and also a battery tester. Yeah, one of those, of course. Not bad, eh? Two batteries for the circuit, 1 for the LEDs. Ben Kennedy, I like to have a touch of high mids, not a lot, but plenty to give me a good cut in my band as the music veers on metal. Okay, cool. We got Compared to Iron Maiden after our gig, which I'm not complaining about. There you go. Well, that's cool. If you need that, you need those mids to sort of cut through what the rest of the band are doing, you go for it. Kev Mack, you have another bass. I love the status. I have many basses, Kev. This has been on the channel a few times as a review and a demo. Already on the channel. Did those during lockdown. Feel free to check them out. You can't see it. The bass is too low. I need to drop the camera down. NSJ Music. I managed to get my Alembic. Oh, it's Delano, isn't it? Well, good to see you, mate. Oh, I'm jumping messages here. Big Fush. Ever made any original stuff? We had that conversation, I think, last week. I did original stuff for about the first 5 or 6 years of being professional. So from 95 to about 2001. And it then started to clash with all the covers work I was doing. And it became very difficult to turn away very good money for covers gigs, function gigs, wedding gigs, in favour of doing original stuff that A, either you were never going to get paid for, or B, I wasn't involved in the songwriting, so I would never make any money from it. And invariably with originals gigs, you're not going to earn any money from it. And at that time, I'd just taken on a mortgage and had bills to pay and wanted a certain standard of quality of life. And I wanted to buy some gear and what have you. So I kind of ditched all the original thing. I kind of made, it was like a fork in the road. I was either going to go that way or that way. And I went the way of covers. I still did some original stuff, but I'd only do it if I was being paid for it. So, and a lot of that stuff you aren't. So it was fine. But here I am. Well, as I said earlier, 28 years into a professional career as a bass player. I've done all right. It was probably the right thing to do. I could go out and do original stuff, but A, it's very time consuming, and B, it will always clash with covers stuff, and you end up, you know, with band leaders of original things. Well, are you doing this or not? Well, no, because they're offering me 400 quid to go and play a load of covers. So, you know, 400 quid kind of lubricates the wheels of life a bit better than sort of £10 and a packet of crisps, you know. That's my take on it. So I have done original stuff. I don't tend to do it anymore. And if someone asks me to do original stuff, if I'm not being paid, then no, I won't be doing it. So Delano, I managed to get my Alembic on board for most of the flights on my US tour. Excellent. A bit nervous when I had to check it in at the gate. It ended up fine and no damage at all. I'm very impressed, I have to say. I wouldn't have shared your confidence. I really wouldn't. But that's because I've had too many things go wrong and too much gear disappear into the ether. To arrive back later, no one can, when it's happened to me, no one can ever tell me where the thing is. Well, where is it? It's got a tracking number. It's got a tag. Where is it? Oh, we don't know. And I can't work like that. Well done, mate. I'm glad it all worked out and you got back safe and the bass got back safe. Just be careful. Don't get complacent with that, because that isn't always going to be the case. And I would hate for an Alembic to suddenly fall foul of baggage handlers. I really would. Kev Mac, I used to think $20 and a pitcher of beer was good in my original days. Well, this is it. Sometimes, though, certainly here in the UK, you don't even get that. I did way too many original gigs where the gig would take up the whole day in terms of getting ready, getting out the door, travelling to the parking. You might get a parking ticket. Someone might prang your car. You're on a 5-band bill and all the other bands want to use your gear. And, you know, you got to pay for food. You got to pay for drinks. You got to do this. It just became such a bind that in the end I thought, I haven't even written the material. I'm never going to get any songwriting money off this. If the band takes off, you can't always guarantee that the record company are going to keep you on to support the artist. They may well get their own people in. So you put all that time and effort in for nothing. Seen it happen. Known people who played for Craig David and got dropped as soon as he became famous. The record company and the management went, no, we're having the record company session guys. You can go on your way. And that guy had done like 3-4 years backing him up, doing all the gigs, slogging around all the clubs and stuff. One whiff of fame and they got the sack. Not for me. Not for me. Delano, I had a bit of a ding on the Hiscox case. That's what cases are for, don't worry. But no damage to the bass. You can always replace a case. You can't replace the bass. Well, I'm pleased, mate, that it got there and you managed to do it all. I personally would not have had your confidence. I wouldn't have risked any of my nice basses of doing that, because it's happened to me too many times. You know, with all the best intentions and everything, I've had gear just disappear. It does turn up, but it's like, Who's had it? Where has it been? What has it been through? And I can't be doing that. Not at my age, not now. Don't need the grief. And I bought this for traveling, and like I say, a lot of the time now you can't take them in the cabin. And I bought an Ibanez over there, 80k in 2014 for doing stuff abroad. It weighs a bit, which isn't particularly helpful. But if something happened to it, I wouldn't be brokenhearted, because I bought it for that purpose. It's a great bass, I love playing it, but I wouldn't be brokenhearted if it turned up in a case, you know, in bits. I could live with it because I know what I paid for it. Oh dear. How's life though, Delano? Everything good? Hope you're busy. What's in there? I don't remember leaving a strap in there. Looks like there's something in the bottom of the gig bag. Oh, it's the padded bottom. Not as bad as it sounds, I promise you. Stop the strap buttons popping out the bottom. There we go. Happy days. Yeah. It's coming up 10 o'clock. Good Lord, we've been doing nearly 2 hours. Well, you're all very welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in to Brooks's Bass Corner. Live chat number 59. 59. I don't know where we've done 59 live chats, but we have. You're very welcome. We're here every Tuesday at 8 o'clock UK time. Feel free to join in any week that suits you. If you miss any of the live chats, you can always get them on catch up. They're available to watch and listen to on the YouTube channel. Kev Mac, gonna say good night. Hopefully I'll feel better next week. Keep up the lows, Pete. You take care, Kev. Best wishes. Look after yourself. There's a lot of lurgy flying about at the moment, so not just in this country, just generally. So take care. We'll see you soon. So if you've got any question about basses, amps, speakers, gig bags, pedals, strings, cleaning materials, anything to do with bass, let me know if I can help. That's what I'm here for. Beefish, thanks a lot for the answers. I have a good one, Mike. Good, excellent. Patrick Sweeney, when I was in an originals band back in the day, we used to have to pay to play around London. See, I wouldn't even have entertained that, but it was a different time. It was a different time. And venue owners knew they could get away with it, and promoters. Until the MU stepped in, that was everywhere, wasn't it? I kind of came in just after that had stopped, as I recall. So I turned pro in 95. I was doing gigs, bits and bobs before that, but I don't ever remember having to pay to play. I wouldn't have agreed to it. I'm not paying someone in order to get up on stage and do my thing. I want paying. I'm not going to be paying them. But if that's the way it worked for original bands and artists, that's the way it worked. You can't change those things if it gets ingrained, because there will always be other, it's like venues dropping their fees. You know, there will always be a band that will play for a low money. There always will. And once you agree to it, and you've been playing at higher amount, once you agree to a lower amount, it never goes back up. Never goes back up. They know they can get you at X, and you were playing at X times 2. And now they know they can get you at X. You will always be playing at X. That's That's the way that works, unfortunately. Which is why in the old covers band, we usually stood our ground on those things. If you want us to play for less, then we won't play here. You either want us at what we charge or we're not playing. And it worked okay for us, I think. And we were pretty consistently busy up until about the last 2.5 years that I was in that band. And matters conspired against us to be regularly gigging. So, not to worry, we had a good run of it. For the regulars, if there's any bases in the rack you want me to pull out, if you've got a question about anything, Betsy's over there, of course. A couple of Kubicki's, Statuses, GBs, Spectre, Aria, Alembics, Dingwalls, Lakeland, Ibanez, we got there. Fender, of course, more Ibanez, JD, Music Man Stingray, more Lakelands, Yamaha, there's another Stingray, Lodestones, GBs, yeah. If there's anything you want to ask, let me know. Steffi, better get going. Sorry for not being talkative tonight. That's okay. Been a rough week. Thanks for another lovely live chat, Mike. Truly was a highlight this week. See you next time. You take care of yourself. Have a good week. Or try to have a good week. We'll see you next week. Take care of yourself. Let's check up to date on the messages. I think we are. Yeah, we are. Good. Good. So if you're not already a subscriber to the channel, please feel free to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, make sure you pick from the 3 options there. So there'll be 3 options. None, which means you get no notifications. Second one is highlights, which means the YouTube algorithm lets you know when it thinks I'm producing a video that you will find interesting. And then there's all is the third option. So you get all notifications when I'm posting up new videos, new content, or I'm posting on the community tab. And thank you to all the new subscribers. It's been rising numbers over the past week or two. So thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And feel free to get involved in the live chat. Any questions regarding basses, or if I can help you in any way. Maybe you're looking to buy some new gear, buy a new bass, new amp, pedals. Maybe you're looking for a change in the strings you use. Maybe looking for some recommendations on some accessories. Let me know if I can help. More than happy to do so. Patrick, you had to pay to use the house PA. Yeah, that's true. I remember that. And you could hopefully sell tickets on the door. That rarely happened, didn't it? Let's be fair. And even if you did sell tickets, they'd always knock you down. Oh, you only sold 30. No, I think the time we sold about 80. No, it was 30. No, it was 80. No, you sold 30. Those were the days. But again, another reason not to do original stuff, because they would have you over a barrel. And again, why you never made money doing it. You might make money on merch and CDs and tapes and all that. And then they started charging you for the facility to sell that at the gigs. Mad. But again, if you're a bunch of guys or a bunch of girls and you're in a band together, and it's you know, one for all and all for one, that's great. But if you're a group of musicians as a backing band for an original artist and they're not paying you to do it, you're on hiding to nothing, really. Really. I was lucky that the original artists I played in bands for, backing band, I did get paid for. Invariably, they had record deals, so there was budget. So you get paid for rehearsals and you get paid for performance. So clearly, we all wanted to do as many rehearsals as possible, which made the band sound really good. We were great. And the artist was fabulous. Actually, one of the artists I did. And then the record company got bought out by a media production company, and they pulled all the funding for that artist. She must have owed, I think she owed something like about 60 grand or something. It was a lot of money. It was a lot of wages had gone out to the band. It was a 7-8 piece band. And the company wrote off the debt, but it meant she had no money then to carry on paying us to do the gigs to promote her album. And yeah, I remember being rung up. Oh, can you do these 3 or 4 gigs? Yeah, love to, absolutely. But there's no money. It was like, okay. Well, you know, even travel expenses weren't going to be covered. And it was like, I didn't write any of the material. I'm not going to get anything out of it. You know, it's benefiting you. There's no benefit for me other than playing a gig, and I've got to foot the bill for doing it. So I dropped out, as did most of the rest of the band. Shame, because she had potential, big time. But there we go. Cass, do you find that your car insurance rockets up when mentioning the musician word? No, I don't, because I'm kind of pretty good with it. I'm a big follower of Martin Lewis, and I've always declared that I'm a musician. I always end up with like business. I think it's class 1 or class 2. I don't have any problems, to be honest, and I've got a clean, no claims discount, and I've never had any sort of accidents or thefts from my vehicle. And you just got to shop around. See, the problem is a lot of people, when it comes to doing their insurance, whether it's car insurance, house insurance, pet insurance, they just take the renewal. You've got to shop around. Don't show any loyalty to a bank, a building society, or an insurance company. They don't care about you, so don't care about them. If you spend an hour doing the Martin Lewis sort of step by step when you're doing your car insurance, you can save a lot of money. The problem this year, and again, I got this from Martin Lewis's site, is that this is kind of last year, 2022, was the first year properly out of COVID. So while we were in COVID, in lockdown, people weren't driving their cars as much. There were fewer people on the road. There were fewer accidents and fewer thefts from cars. 2022 was the year after that. So suddenly it's gone from very few people on the road to lots of people on the road, more accidents, more thefts. So this year, 2023, we were feeling the impact of all those extra claims from the year before. That's why the car insurance has gone up so much this year. But generally my insurance, depending on the car I'm driving, is around kind of between 300 and 400 quid as a musician. I'm expecting my renewal in December to be significantly higher, but it is what it is. You can't change the things. All you can do is drive carefully and shop around. And generally, if you follow Martin's step-by-step thing, when you're using the comparison sites, where possible, and you come up with a quote, or you've done the stuff and it's pulling up your possible companies, go back into your quote and change certain parameters. So like the mileage you're going to do. If dropping £1,000 off your mileage takes 25 quid off your quote, then do that. or look at it, work out how much driving am I going to do the following year. You know, does putting my girlfriend or my partner on my insurance bring my insurance down? Always has for me. If I put my partner on my insurance, or if I take them off the insurance, it's X. If I put them on the insurance, it's less every time. So if you've got a safe driver, whether it's your sister or your partner or whatever, or brother, if you can put them on the insurance and it brings the value down, the premium down, do it. They don't have to drive the car. You're just putting them as a named driver on the insurance, and that actually helps them with their insurance because they're on another policy. So you just got to shop around. That's kind of my thing. But I take it quite seriously. I'll do an hour or 2 hours even getting my quotes and going through it all. And it kind of works for me. But I haven't paid more than £400 on car insurance since the 90s, maybe 99, I think. So yeah. Ben Kennedy, as a rotor sound player, have you ever used any of the other strings? Yes. Like the 77 flats? Yes. 88 black nylons? Yes. And 55 solos? Yeah. Got 77 flats on my Mike Dermott Precision up there. I did have 77 flats on a 62 reissue Jazz that I had. I've got 55 solos on my Lakeland 5502 Skyline to my right hand side, and I've also got a set of them on one of my Washburn acoustics as well. Black nylons I have used, but I don't use often. Usually it would be for a recording thing. I can't say I'd really want to use them live, but there we go. Kev Smith, Mike, have you tried the Boss Katana bass combo amp? Yes, Kev, I did the very first review here in the UK. I did it. Still got it. It needs to go back to them at some point. There will be a review on the channel, but I did the first review for Bass Guitar Magazine. Bass Player, sorry. I automatically always say Bass Guitar Magazine, but by that point, Bass Guitar Magazine had gone. It was the last amp review I think I did before we left the magazine, and it became an online entity. But yeah, I did. You may well be able to go to, in fact, I can try and do it for you. Let me see. I know there was an online version of that review, heavily edited, as usual. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'll get you a link. There we go. Got it. That was the old one. Oh, I see. Here we go. It was actually, I had it, I think, February 2022, but it didn't get published either in the mag or on the site until July 2022. Anyway, let me get this. But bear in mind, that's been heavily edited. It's not the review I submitted. It was pretty good. Pretty good. I think they've done like a Mark II since, so they've changed some things on it. But yeah, it wasn't, it's not the greatest bass combo you're ever going to hear. Certainly not the worst, and the fact it's got all the effects built in. If you're new to effects, it's a perfect, one-stop shop for a young player or someone starting out. I think the one I had was the 110. Is that right? I think that's right. I think. You're not going to be able to use that really on gigs too much. Probably home practice and sort of low volume rehearsals. Yeah, so here's what what I said, but again, this could have been rewritten. All-in-one solution for home recording, rehearsing and small gigs, a broad array of effects and flexible connectivity and updatability. Negatives would be the limited coverage on gigs without PA monitoring backup, and there's not as much control over the effects as you would have with standalone pedals. So yeah. Cass, on the line of insurance, how about your gigging gear? Do you have it listed on your home contents insurance? Nope. Or do you take out specialist policy? Specialist policy. Anything more than 2 to 3 guitars is counted as a collection. So if my gear were unfortunate enough to be stolen and it was on house insurance, it wouldn't get covered. You have to have separate policy for your instruments, your backline and your pedals. So as a working musician, you have to have a separate policy. With my MU cover, an instrument, I think it's up to £3,000 now, it's covered outside the house, but that's just one. So on any gig, I've got 2 basses. So, you know, one will be covered for free within my MU membership, but otherwise, no, you need to have, got to do it separately. And insurance companies will find any way to get out of paying, I'm afraid. If there's a way they can get out of it, they will, and you won't know about it until you have to claim. Likewise, Cass, somewhere around that figure. So yeah, so that's it's a wake-up call. Either get rid of so many guitars, or you got to look into funding your insurance. I know a few people with very significantly sized bass collections, and I'm not convinced they've got insurance. They fool themselves that they're covered on their house insurance, but they're not. They're not, because the insurer would say, well, how many are there? And they'll say 40 or 50. Yeah, that's not covered. That's a collection. That doesn't come under your house insurance. You can check the small print, but the way it used to be was that's not covered. And again, if you're a working bass player and you're claiming your basses, your amps, your pedals, all your consumables, everything as business expenses, then you really should have separate insurance for it. Whereas if you've just got 2 or 3 instruments at home, that's not really a collection. That's just enjoyment, hobby, what have you. Once you've got serious amounts, you know, it has to be a collection first and foremost. Otherwise, why have you got them? And if you're using them to earn money, well, that's another thing. It's like how many times insurers won't cover claims on vehicles or stuff you use for a business. Well, it's business. You should have business insurance. There you go. It's like those rules regarding vans, driving vans. If you're earning money from it, then it's a business. It's not social, domestic and pleasure. Mike the Snake, welcome. I like your first name. Welcome to the channel. Good to see you. First time viewer, well, you're very welcome. We're here every Tuesday from 8 p.m. here in the UK. Just got my new Ibanez bass, excellent, and amp and the Yamaha keyboard. Wow. So I have drums to help with keeping the beat. Excellent. Been taking lessons. Boy, is it slow going. Welcome to the world of bass. Nothing is quick. Put in the hard work, put in the hard graft, and it will reward you immensely. If you try and rush it and try and skip practice and learning stuff, you'll only end up having to go back and do it at a later date. Take your time, enjoy the ride, get your calluses as hard as you can, and practice. But best of luck. If you've got any questions regarding bass stuff, gear, playing, pedal boards, basses, amps, fire away. If I can help, more than happy to do so. Kev Smith, Mike, that's good info on cover. It could well have changed. I'm trying to think when I heard that. That would have been like mid-2000s when my collection started to grow. and I'd had all my stuff insured, and it got to a point where they said, I think there was a year where I tried to put it on the house insurance, and they just went, no, can't cover that. It's A, way too much gear, 2, it's too valuable, and B, anything more than 2 or 3 instruments is considered a collection. So, and as I said, until you have to claim, you can't be sure an insurance company is going to pay out. You don't know. And they make the rules, they make the policies, the terms and conditions. How many people buy insurance don't check the small print? Exactly. So look at what you're buying. And even once you've bought it and they send the documents through, or you get it as email documents, whatever, check the small print. If it's not going to handle what you need it to do, then you've got your 14 days cooling off period and cancel it at no cost. Too many people buy insurance, whether it's travel insurance, car insurance, whatever, and go, oh, that's it, that's that job done. And then when something happens and they claim on it and they don't get the money, too late. Too late. Mike the Snake, I can second what you say about insurance companies. Their job is not to cover your losses. It's to try and find a way to not have to pay. Correct. Already have the thick-skinned fingertips. Excellent. Thanks for the tip. That's my pleasure. My pleasure. If I can help with anything, feel free. I've been playing for 36 years, 28 as a full-time professional. So if I can help in any shape, manner or form, ask away. And if I don't know the answer, one of the other people here on the live chat may well do. Pleasure. That's what we're here for. We've solved many a bass player's quandary here on Brooks's Bass Corner. Questions, guys, comments, anything you'd like to ask? Gigging up in Harlow this week with Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno. If you'd like to attend the show, I think we're at Harlow Playhouse on Saturday. Harlow, kind of Essex, Hertfordshire, Cambridgeshire way. So if you're in the vicinity, you'd like to come down, let me know. I have access to the guest list, of course. Fire away, gang. Fire away. If any of you have seen videos on the channel and you've got some questions, maybe one of the interview videos, you'd like to ask what actually happened, I'm more than happy to divulge, as long as it's not going to get me into trouble. Joe Goose, good to see you. I'm good, mate. I'm good. Not too bad at all. How are you doing? Did you get your 6-string status? Oh, Joe, Graham's on this chat, or he was earlier. If you haven't sorted out your purchase, you can do it now. There's a Spitfire on Reverb, is there? Can you look if you think it's any good? It's quite cheap. Oh, I'll have a little look for you. Let's see. Do-do-do. Let's see. Ah, yeah, it's Robin Vicks. I thought he'd sold it. Or is it not Robin Vicks one? Ah, no, it's not. It's the one that's at Bass Brothers. It's not the same one. Sorry, my mistake, being an idiot. That's a great bass, actually, Joe. I think I've even played it at some point when it was being made. There was a period where Bernie was making loads of Spitfires in that quilted maple. So, yeah, that's a good price. You should buy that. So it's got Rumour electronics in it. But basically at that point, when that was made, all the basses have got the Rumour circuit. Bernie standardized all the basses. They had the same circuit board in there. You should buy that. You'll love it. Mike, did you say a while back you were going to interview Barry from the Bass Centre? Any news? I would love to, and I will suggest it to him. The problem with Barry is he's immensely busy all the time. If I get him on a phone call, he's like, within about 2 minutes, he's gone. He's got to do something else. And he's a bit of a globetrotter. So he goes off on holiday, like on a whim. I did interview Barry back in 2016 for Bass Guitar Magazine. We did an interview with him. God, I've known Barry since 1988, first time I walked into the Bass Centre. And I would love to get him on the live chat, is what I would like, so you guys can fire questions at him. But it would need me to be there with him. I don't think he could actually, if I did a live chat duo, I don't think technologically he would get it to work. I would need to be there with him. So he would be on this camera with me. So that's a possibility. All the other options, I just go and film an interview and then edit it up. So I will try and get him to commit to like an afternoon or something. And we'll do it. Because the stories he's got to tell are just, they're gold dust, really. And he's not getting any younger. None of us are. And, you know, there's a lot of info and a lot of stuff he can divulge. So I will try and get that, Kev. It's on my list. It's on my list to contact him and see if we can do that. Joe, is that a pretty good price? Yes, it is. 1,300 quid for a 5-string GB Spitfire. Absolutely. Bite the guy's hand off. I know it's at Bass Brothers, so yeah, you should buy it. Moment to yeah. I love the Status Empathy 6-string that Graham might sell, but we have yet to agree on a price. Yes, if he doesn't want to sell, I will understand as it's a nice bass. Status Empathy, of course. Cass, watch that Spitfire. Previous owner routed. It's that one, is it? Oh no, as soon as I look at it, and I think I know who did the routing as well. I won't say because it might embarrass them. It is that one, isn't it? They basically changed pickups and circuitry. And yeah, I do know who did it. And he shouldn't have done it, really. And in fact, I suspect it's the same one, the same person. I think they asked me about it during lockdown, what I thought. And I said, buy it, you'll love it, it'd be great. And unfortunately, I'm going to get myself into trouble. But that guy has a particular sound and tone that he likes. So he buys up basses and then tries to convert them all to be like the thing that he likes, when in fact he's already got the thing that he likes, but he wants everything else to be like that. And it's like, well, that's the whole point. They're all different. They've got different circuits, different pickups. but it's the bass that's doing the travels. Now, if you don't mind the fact that the routing has been mucked about with, then go for it. But that's probably why it's at the price it is, sadly. It still sound, I think it's got the circuit and pickups, the original ones, back in. So it's going to sound, it's just the cosmetics. But if you're fine with that, you know, if you're going to take it out gigging, it's going to get banged and dinged anyway. So go for it. Okay, in that case, I'm probably going to order a brand new one. Cost you a lot more than that. Deciding between a 4-string Rumour or a clone of the red orange Mark King Spitfire bass. Well, he did have a 4-string Rumour as well. That was the bass he was using before he then decided to stop using them. And that was red, quilted maple, and it had the Sound to Light controller in. He used it for a couple of shows at the start of the 2000 tour. And then the wheels came off the bus, but we've had that discussion. Which one was the reddish orange one? That was a Spitfire. But then he had a red 4-string Rumour with the Sound to Light system in. Okay, that's what I'm getting for sure. Right, hold on. So that bass on reverb, that's a Spitfire. Anything that's jazz looking with the off-center body, that's Spitfire. So let me see if I can find the picture of Mark King with the GB. There's really only one picture of him using it. It's on my main PC. I'm on my laptop here. Bear with me. Nope, not yet. Let's have a little look. Let's open up more possibilities. I know the picture as soon as I see it. Oh, come on. Oh, hang on. Something's gone a little awry here. Very weird, because I saw that picture not so long ago. I know I've got it on my hard drive. Okay, can't find it at the moment. But yes, so basically you had the Daphne blue and white plate Spitfire, which is called a standard back then. he then borrowed a guy called Simon's Ready Orange Spitfire, so that he had two basses in case one went down on a gig. Then that bass went back to its owner, and Bernie had made him the second bass. And then, so that was early 1999. And then in autumn 2000, Bernie had made him a 4-string Roomer with the Sound to Light system. And then about a month later, yeah, the wheels came off the bus and he stopped using them and went back to the Alembics. So there we go. Cass, don't think Bernie doing LEDs on new builds anymore. No, I've heard that as well. Doesn't want the grief. You posted me a link on Facebook. Okay, I'll check that in a moment. Cash, yeah, I'm fine with no LEDs, maybe side LEDs, but not front ones. Only Mark King can carry it off. Lies, 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 lies. Yeah, the Spitfire orange one, I'm going to order it tomorrow morning. Are you? Oh, okay, very good. Make sure you tell Bernie you're going down there. Don't just turn up in Brighton. If he doesn't know you're coming, he won't be there. He'll be out on his boat. I love the sounds of those Spitfires. They're a very twangy sound, great for funk and slap. They're good. Well, don't worry about twang. They've got 18 dB of boost. Bottom end, mids, glassy top. Don't worry about the twangy stuff. They're a powerhouse. All four are mine. Although the white one's slightly different because it's got the single coils in, of course. So it's a slightly different sound to the other three. Can I show you my 4-string BG? You mean my 4-string GB? Well, which one? So this is the 50th birthday one. It's a Roomer. The Kingfisher blue one, which was made for me, which is a Roomer, is in a gig bag, but you've seen that before. Hang on, what's going on? This is my Spitfire. That's the Spitfire. And then if I can get over there without kicking my drinks over, which would be a good idea. This is my 5-string Roomer. That's the 5-string. Can you give us a breakdown of that? Of the Spitfire? Yeah. 2 seconds. Right. What do you want to know? So this was made for someone else in 2005, late 2005, and it went to the owner, I think, in December 2005. I saw it there, sort of being set up and put in its case and what have you. And I said to Bernie, I'm going to own that one day. He said, no, I doubt it. He said the guy that commissioned it was like a big fan, and he'd never sell this. Well, 2 owners later, and it was mine anyway. Came up on eBay. So it's got a scratch plate with no screws. It's held in place by the pickup. I took it off a couple of weeks ago on a live chat, but I can do it again. So there's nothing holding it. It's just the tightness of the cutout in terms of the pickup. So that's it without the plate on. So it's quilted maple over a swamp ash body. Satin finished neck. Satin finish fingerboard. Get on there. Thank you. 3-band EQ. Volume, pickup pan. Yeah. Series parallel switch. ABM bridge. Humbucking pickups. Hip shots on the headstock. Neutrik locking socket, of course. And then in here, so there's no LEDs, 2 batteries for the circuit, and then we've got the G spot, which allows you to tune up. So basically when you're plugged into an amp, you press that button and it will create a G tone, frequency. That allows you then to tune the G string, obviously, to that tone. And then you can tune the rest of the strings from there. I'm going to get that option with the removal scratch plate. Lovely stuff. Is the ABM bridge standard? No, it's what you spec. So I think Bernie just uses Hipshot for everything now, but you can spec whatever you want. He'll get it for you, and then you pay for it. So you can either have what he's got, or you can say, I really want this sort of bridge or this hardware, and that's it. You can spec the circuit. So basically you tell him what center points you want for bass, middle and treble, and that's what you can have. Now you can also have a circuit that's got active, passive options and sweepable mids. That was never an option back then. But yeah, so that's it really. That's it. There we go. Okay, that will be in his little black book. I'm sure probably Mark didn't even specify frequencies. I don't think Mark would have even specified them. I was at the gig when he brought the basses down for him. So that was Croydon Fairfield Halls in January 99. And, you know, the backup bass was another customs bass. So Mark had no input on that. And I don't think he even really had much input on the Daphne Blue one. I think Bernie just created the bass, took it down. He went, oh, I love this. Yeah, great. And that was the start of that. And actually, what you're talking about there in terms of EQ points and stuff, the whole circuit changed. So when Mark was using what you're calling Spitfires, these basses, these were called standards. Spitfire didn't even come into the equation until 2001, 2002, 2003. They were called GB standards. And the control setup wasn't like this. It was 4 in a row. And probably the voicings were quite different. So you'd need to have a chat with Bernie about that. If he's got all that written down, he might have, he might not. Did he take both basses back? Bernie, yes. And they were sold to Morgan Roussel, who runs the Level 42 website. Morgan basically made it his life mission to try and own as many of Mark's old basses as he could. Graham, good to see you. It was catching up on work stuff. My mum's poorly in hospital having cancer treatment. Sorry to hear that, mate. It's been a bit manic. I know the feeling. Apologies to you, Joes. Haven't got round to sorting out the empathy. Let me see if I can find what you sent me on Facebook, Joe. Did you send it in Messenger? I think you did. There we go. So look. Bernie's hair. That's excellent. Right, let's have a look at that. Yeah, that's probably Mark's one. It was basically almost identical to the one the guy had lent him, I think. As far as I can remember. But again, speak to the man, he built them. No one else did. Only he knows. And that Spitfire there with humbuckers, I nearly bought that. That was at the base centre once. It was doing the rounds on a couple of forums for a while. Ah, there's mine. This is there on that link. There's my Kingfisher blue one. That's there. Yeah, just make sure you contact him before you go down there. And even if you have arranged to go down there, still ring him before you leave. Many's the time I've gone to see Bernie. He knows I'm coming and he just disappears. He isn't there. Just guys, how much was it going for? Ooh, what are we talking about? The one with the humbuckers. Oh God, it wasn't particularly expensive. Would I recommend a Ruma or a Spitfire based on your experience? It just depends what fits you, Joe. You got to try both. Bernie will probably send you away with the powder blue Ruma. And if you like that, then you want a Ruma. If you don't like that, then you're going to have a Spitfire. All it's about is body shape, headstock shape, balance. You know, everything else can be the timbers, the electronics, the pickups, hardware. That's irrespective of which base you put them on. But you've got to get the shape and the headstock decided. Me Glorious Me, nice bass, brother. What kind is it? That's a GB Spitfire, made here in the UK by GB Guitars. Thank you. Don't think you've been here on the channel before. Welcome. So my preference, Joe, I prefer the Ruma shape. I'm not so keen on this. And also when I'm playing it, it feels like the neck is really, really long. But it's okay. It's not like an alembic long. But the Rumas just work for me. They're a bit more symmetrical. They balance great, feel great. I love the headstock design. Kind of bored of that. I'd much rather have the GB. The Ruma headstock design. Graham once placed a neck through Spitfire. That was an incredible bass. Yeah, he didn't do too many of them. I think he's only done a few. He'll do them. You know, I think Lawrence Cottle plays a Spitfire. Yes, he does. 5-string. In Daphne Blue. With matte chrome, matte silver hardware. But they're just a body shape. That's the only difference. It's just a body shape. There's no inherent magic in having a Spitfire or a Ruma. They're just a body shape and a headstock shape. And you can have a bolt-on Ruma if you want a bolt-on Ruma. He'll build anything as long as it sort of fits in with his design parameters. Every instrument is a one-off. There's no kind of price guideline, but you're probably looking in excess of £3,000. I think we had this chat on Saturday, didn't we? You're looking at probably 3 to 5, depending what you want. Night, Kev. See you next time. Take it easy. Have a great week. Yeah. There we go. Going on a spending spree, Joe. Yeah. Yeah, the guy that spec'd this originally got everything right, apart from the fact he asked for some really weird, crazy fret wire. And when I bought it, the thing was buzzing like crazy. And according to Bernie, he had taken the bass away way too soon. It was like he was in such a hurry for Bernie to make it, and then he was and the thing never got time to settle. And Lord knows where he was playing it, because by the time I got it 4 years later, it was just buzzing. I gave it to Bernie and he sorted it. Still has its moments of buzzes, but you just got to stay on top of the truss rod. Well, I'm annoyed that Status decided to remake S1 Bolt on wooden neck basses from the late 90s and charge nearly 3K for them. Yeah, that's the way it is, mate. All those people that were going to buy Status and were waiting, and I don't know what they were waiting for. I guess they just assumed they would always be available. Thankfully, I'm all statused up, so I'm all right, Jack. Martin, good evening. Just popping in briefly to say hi. Hope you're well. Truss rod needs adjusting. My first mid-price bass was a wooden neck Status. It was okay, but Status doesn't have the legacy of making wooden necked instruments. Well, I've got that T-bass, and that's excellent, so... You know what will come next? We'll start doing wooden necked king basses next. That will be the next thing. Yeah, I get the T-basses are an exception. They are decent. My one is. Ooh. Anything else you want to ask, Joe? About the GBs? You may even find he has some in stock for sale. He sometimes buys bases back and then sells them. He has a load of Status fanboys and fangirls all preaching. Oh, sorry, we're talking about Status. All preaching that the new bolt-on Status bases are as good as the old neck. Well, as good as the old neck through S2 empathies. Well, how could they be? The whole premise of buying a Status with the graphite neck was all the benefits it gave you over a wooden neck. Sustain, clarity of tone, consistency of neck material, never moving, action. So they can't be as good, otherwise how could you have spent the last 40 years saying graphite necks with the bee's knees? They're just different. Just different. But as I always say, take every base on its merits. You know, on the Facebook Status group. Yeah, but people, you also remember there are a lot of people that are buying these things and a lot of people shelling out lots of money, not just on Status gear, but all sorts of base gear. They have to justify it to themselves. They can't be seen to be wrong or have bought a mistake. They have to justify it. You know, oh, well, it's the best base I've ever bought. Yeah, but the problem is you bought a base 6 months ago that you said was the best base you've ever bought. There's a musician I've been working with in the past year, and every time he posts on social media, every gig is the best gig he's ever done. That don't happen. Talk rubbish. You know, people bigging things up, over glamorizing. Take it for the pinch of salt it's worth. Don't worry about it. Yeah, every gig I do is the best gig I've ever done. Talking rubbish. That is utter nonsense. So the gig that you did at the theatre in front of 5,000 people was not as good as the pub gig you did a week later in front of 20 people and a dog. Don't worry. It's a crazy world. Yeah, there we are. This will make me laugh. I sent an email to JD. It's not been 2 years since I ordered my green GA24. So I sent an email if you have any news when it's due to be completed so I can pay up. I added, if it's way off completion date, then ignore this email. That was a week ago. Heard nothing back since. They're very busy boys at JD. Not the only person that's had that. It is a bit mad, but yeah, they are rushed off their feet, especially since Mark started reusing his JDs. It's going to be another 3 years. Well, you never know. But having said that, you haven't placed your GB order yet, and that can take some time. My Kingfisher Blue base was meant to take 3 months. It took 13. That was in 2003, 2004. So if he's got one there in stock that you want to buy, do that. It'll save you a whole load of time and grief. But if you're going to go down the custom route, then happy shopping. can't say it's ever something with any bass maker that I'm ever really that inclined to do again. It was, yeah. Cool. Well, it's just come up to 11 o'clock, so we've been going for 3 hours. I'll give it about another 5-10 minutes, and then we'll wrap tonight up, I think. So if you've got any more questions or any comments you'd like to fire away, stick them in the live chat window, and I will answer them as best I can. My first one, he started playing them after about a year, so then that extended the build to, oh, that's it. Yeah, that'll do it. Certainly. Oh, it'll be worth it when it arrives. Have you still got your JD? Yeah. It's here for as long as I need it, really. I thought it was behind me. That's when I had the lower stack here, so I had the bases behind me. Yes, in the rack over there, mate. It's here for as long as I need it for. So when I get round to doing the videos and stuff, it's got to go on the workbench at some point, get some new strings and a setup. Do you? Love that, do you? I'm glad I bought that. It was made, it didn't come from Hartkey like that. It was made out of leftover stock that the Bass Centre had. You could buy a Hartkey 210, but they normally had a louder amp. This was a spare amp from another combo that hadn't sold or whatever, and they put it all together. It never used to be this colour. There used to be like a bright grey, and just over time. So I bought this in 2000. It's done about 5-6 gigs maybe. The rest of it's been home practice, but it works great, sounds great. Good example of Hartkey tone. And yeah. They were awesome. Well, I say they were. I think what they were up against wasn't, well, what am I talking about? So you had Trace Elliot coming out of their heyday, and into the 90s, you had SWR, you had Mesa Boogie, you had Eden Stuff, I think, at that point. Ampeg, of course, Galley and Kruger. And Hartkey was just a very different tone. The problem was reliability and consistency. If they'd been more reliable, they probably would have taken over Trace Elliott's mantle. The problem was they kept getting dry joints on the circuit boards, so which was a shame. They were awesome back in the day. Yeah, I mean, I had a 4x10 XL and a 3500 head, which is 350 watts. It was great, but just once it started getting dry joints, it was like every 6 months something would go wrong, then it had to go. I was in a music shop in Germany back in the late 90s. I tested out a passive USA jazz bass in a 4x10 Hartkey cab and 250 Hartkey amp. The sound was so punchy, it's the speakers. Amazing. J-Bass was feeding back. It's the speakers. I never knew about the dry joints. Go to any rehearsal place that had Hartkey gear in and they would tell you a million repair stories because they just kept going wrong. Loads of rehearsal places had them because it was like the stuff to get in. Everyone wanted it. What they wanted were the cabs, but the heads were suddenly everywhere. And they just kept going wrong and people would blow the speakers up. But the problem was, I've said this on live chats before, there were two cab ranges, the XLs and the Transporters. The Transporters were like super lightweight, but it wasn't because the speakers were lightweight, as in neodymium. It's because they used cheap, lightweight timber for the cab. The cabs were not built to take the pressure levels that the XLs were, which is why the XLs were heavy. The XLs were built for base frequency. The transporters were built for transportation. So you had people running transporter cabs as though they were XL cabs, and they just couldn't handle it, and the cones would rip all the time. When I toured in Europe in the 2000s, the standard backline was a GK head with a Hartke 410 cab. Sometimes two of them. Yeah, sounds about right. I remember the XL with the small 5-inch cone in the middle of the 410 cab. My cab was an original XL, no tweeter in it. Quite a different sound. So you had lots of bass players that wanted the tweeter in there to get the clicks, the percussiveness. But I have to say, my 410 was great. I would have loved it to have had a tweeter in it, but actually maybe it worked better because it didn't. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, give it 5 more minutes and we'll wrap this one up. Fire away, Joe Goose, while you got 5 minutes. Thank you to the 2 new subscribers. I don't know if you're here on the live chat or you've come through the other videos, but I've just seen the subscriber numbers. 2 new ones. Thank you very much. You're very welcome here on Brooks's Bass Corner. So like I said earlier, next installment, Bass String Experiment Series, is up tomorrow. I promise it will be up there tomorrow, and it will be on a premiere as well, so you'll get notice in advance. There'll be a 30-minute live chat before the thing actually is available there for you to watch, and then you can actually message during the video as well. So if you've got any questions about what you see on screen, feel free to fire away. Trace Elliott also had Kevlar cones, kind of set them apart from the normal Ampeg style paper cones. Yes, but they didn't come in until 89, 90, 91, maybe even 92. They never used to be Kevlar. That came in once they started getting involved with the American companies. Remember, that was a big announcement in the bass magazines, in the news sections. Trace Elliott going to start using Kevlar cones. Kevlar was very hard sounding. Yeah. Very true. I preferred the sound of Ampegs. Now, see, I've had too many different sounding Ampeg setups. No consistency. I've had some that have just been amazing, and I've had some that have just been the worst sounding thing you've ever heard. Had them all. You had a Trace head and Ampeg cabs. That's a sound. That's a sound. See, a lot of people had Trace heads and Hartke cabs. And that was one of the preferred setups at the Bass Centre for quite a while. You go in and try something, that would be, they'd say, plug into this. It was quite impressive. That was before the Trace stuff started to go downhill. Joe Goose, thank you very much for your super chat payment. Bless you. Fabulous, Joe Goose. We like Joe Goose here on Brooks's Bass Corner. Thank you very much for that, mate. I'll give that a nice big love heart there. Thank you very much. Great stuff. Thank you for that. You're the one and only one this evening, so thank you. Bless you. What I always wanted was a Status Stealth and a red head combo. One of them. That's what you mean. I never got either. It is Joe Goose. It is Joe Goose, moment to moment. Yeah. Well, redheads are out there. I bought this one in June, and I've seen another one go for less than I got this for. So they are out there. Status Stealth, just got happy shopping on that front. Well, there's that 6-string Stealth at Bass Brothers, but maybe a little overpriced. Are they collectible? I don't know with SWR. The problem with a lot of SWR is A, the company doesn't exist anymore, and B, age of gear, dry joints, problematic circuit boards, dodgy pots. So you got to kind of shop really and check them. Don't buy unseen. I think they got a couple at the gallery, but they're a bit more than I paid for this, that's for sure. But yeah, I think you got more chance of getting a decent redhead combo than a Stealth, because every Stealth that goes up, as you and I know, suddenly disappears into various bass stores. So you've either got to be prepared to pay extra on the auctions, or you're gonna end up paying through the nose when they're in the shop. So yeah. Yeah, there's a Stealth on eBay at the moment. I wonder if I've seen that. Let's have a little look, shall we? I can't remember. No, I hadn't seen that. Are we talking the green one? That's in the US. That's a hefty old price. Nice looker though, if that's the one you mean. I think that T-bass is overpriced. £1,200 for a standard T-bass. Is that the green Stealth you're talking about, the £3,700 one in America? I'll be in a minute. Oh, that's a Series 2000. Cool. Oh, you sent me a link on Facebook. It's been modified though. Right. Okay. Okay. I will check it all out. Okay. Where are we? It is coming up 11:15. We're going to close down tonight's live chat. Thank you to everyone for getting involved. Good to see you all. Hope you all have a great week, and we will catch you next Tuesday, 8 o'clock, of course. So next episode of the Bass String Experiment is up tomorrow. I will make sure it's my priority for tomorrow. Let me know what you think. Check it out. It will be on a premiere. You'll get a notification that it's going to be a premiere, and then it's just a case of if you want to attend or not. You don't have to, but very much appreciated if you do. And there will now be more and more of those episodes coming up, because I need to clear the shelves, as it were. Cheers, Joe. Thank you very much for the live chat payment. Thank you, everyone, for getting involved. Enjoy the content. Got any comments, leave them, well, for this video in the comments section below. On any of the videos, comments, thumbs ups, everything's good. So thank you very much. See you next Tuesday, 8 o'clock for Brooks's Bass Corner. Cheers, Martin. Take it easy. And I'll see you next week. Have a great week. All the best.